After last week's no-show in Denver, a much more competitive half from Jonathan Gannon's Arizona Cardinals. We hang out second half coming up. It's a watch-along reaction. Myself, Bo, Brock, Noah. It's PHNX Cardinals starting now. Hey, welcome in. From Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your podcast. I'm Johnny Venerable. Sans Bo Brock. He's on his way. He left Glendale. He left the press box. He's on his way to his home studio. We're going to be breaking down every single minute of the Arizona Cardinals pregame, preseason breakdown here on PHNX Cardinals. Noah Man behind the mic. We're going to be going through it all. Jordan Burch, Clayton Tune, Xavier Weaver, everything. I want to remind everybody, this PHNX Cardinals postgame, halftime, whatever you want to call it, is brought to you by our friends at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer. Find out why. It's never ordinary with our friends at Bet365. Cardinals, much better. Perfect? No. Do I have criticisms? Absolutely. Would have liked to have seen the starters. Not going to move off of that. The Cardinals, much more competitive and competent, specifically defensively. But you can't tell me sitting here, it's 8:30. We got one more half of preseason football left to go. I didn't expect Geno Smith to play in this game. Geno Smith, who played in the prior two games, Pete Carroll said, get your ass back out there. You're playing one more game. This is a nationally televised game, albeit on NFL Network. On a Saturday night, you have the lone spot to yourself. You couldn't play Kyler Murray for a possession. You couldn't play Jacoby Brissett. You couldn't ask some of your starting defense to go out there and compete and get some missed opportunity. I think when you're looking around the NFL and you've got Kansas City playing their starters, Chicago playing their starters, again, I'm nitpicking because there's a lot of positives on the defensive side and, wide receivers for the Arizona Cardinals that we can hit on. But I do think that the Cardinals would have done themselves a favor with this fan base had they opted to play the starters in this game. Again, it's over. It's done. Now we just have to assess where they're going to be to start the regular season. They've started 1-3 each of the last 2 years under JG. But I do think that they could have helped themselves by playing a possession or two. But you've officially made it out of preseason/training camp fully healthy, right? And I see that. Eric's saying health matters. It absolutely does. But, last year, the Cardinals didn't play anybody, and Darius Robinson and B.J. Ojulari got hurt. So at the end of the day, football is a violent game. It's a violent game with the premier 1%ers out there putting their bodies on the line. That's why they get guaranteed contracts or semi-guaranteed. They should get guaranteed contracts. And so it's a risk. But you know what else is a risk? Making sure that you're finely tuned, specifically offensively, going into New Orleans, which is a hostile environment, by the way. Like, that team is awful, but it's going to be a tough opportunity for the Cardinals to go in there and quiet them early. And I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more out of the Arizona Cardinals first team offense this preseason. But I digress. We're about to kick off the second half. Takeaways from the first half. Let's start with the offense. Clayton Tune. I mean, you come out of that half and you're like, that was probably about as good as Clayton Tune can do. And then you look at the statistics and he was 5 of 11 for 28 yards. I mean, it was still not very good at all. Now, do I put the first possession or two when he got smoked by not Crosby, when he got smoked by the starting defensive line for the Las Vegas Raiders? No, I don't put that on him. That should have been the Cardinals' first team offense going against the Raiders' first team defense. But Nick, I agree with you. Pass protection wasn't great. He was scrambling a lot, but he also missed some throws. They're trying to slow down the pass rush with short to intermediate throws or screen throws. And you saw what Clayton Tune did. He threw it right to the defender multiple times. He couldn't elude pressure in the pocket. I mean, people give Kyler Murray a bunch of grief. Kyler Murray doesn't get balls batted down like that. And Clayton Tune's well over 6'3". So it's not just a height thing. So again, 5 of 11, not great. Standouts offensively for this team, we're going to get into it later. Xavier Weaver, 2 catches for 20 yards. I thought Toon, had he hit him in stride, he was open earlier on that crossing route. Probably could have done more with that. Simi Fehoko, another touchdown catch this week. He secured a spot. Like Weaver and Fehoko have been a bright spot this entire preseason. They have filled out this wide receiving group nicely. Weaver, especially developmental kid, undrafted out of Colorado. Semi's been in the NFL for a couple different teams, over the course of like 3 or 4 years. So maybe he's finally found his niche with the Cardinals. Maybe the Cardinals opt to keep him around post this year. Not much doing otherwise. Michael Carter, big run for I think like 38 yards, broken tackle. But the offense scored a touchdown because the defense got a big-time turnover. And that goes us to our X Factor player of the game as we sit here at half to kick off the second half. It's Jordan Burch. Jordan Burch, I'm gonna be transparent with everybody. I liked this pick coming out. I did not think he was going to look this good this early. We had scouts, we had people, Fran Duffy, come on our show and say, he's raw. It's going to take time. He's a tweener. And not a tweener of like a speed rusher and a power rusher. Like, could he play 5 or 3 technique on the defensive line? Could you slide him in a defensive tackle? Because he's enormous. He's 290 pounds. Jury's out. His game translates to the NFL level. 1 sack. Should have had 2 sacks in week 1 against Kansas City. Had a tackle for loss. Had a forced fumble. I mean, he was everywhere. This is a building block for the defensive line. And I pushed back on this narrative a week or so ago. I'm starting to come around. Baron Browning's keeping the seat warm for the top 100 pick out of Oregon. That's what's happening. Josh Sweat, Jordan Burch are the future of this pass rush group, at least through this year into next year. And Baron Browning, I think, does a nice job for what he's asked. Baron Browning can't finish like this. Baron Browning had 2 sacks last year. He can get pressures. He's athletic as hell. Jordan Burch is a better caliber prospect coming out. Baron Browning, I think, was a 4th or 5th round pick. So to me, it's like those will complement each other. I think the group, the foursome, not to knock Xavier Thomas, who we'll give flowers to later, the foursome of Jordan Burch, Zaven Collins, and especially Josh Sweat and Baron Browning, that's a really good group, right? That's a group that you can build around. That group has some juice where this group was lacking last year as the Cardinals tackle on the kickoff here. Raiders get the ball, start second half. So I'm excited about Jordan Burch. It's not somebody I had a lot of expectations to coming into this year, mostly because it's a veteran-dominated position for the Cardinals, mostly because all the headlines, rightfully so, went to Walter Nolan, Will Johnson. But hell, I mean, he's been the most impressive rookie in preseason. Will Johnson was the most impressive rookie during training camp. And now, TBD on Walter Nolan. What's going to happen? Is he going to go on IR pup? Are the Cardinals going to carry an extra D tackle and keep him active? I mean, I put it on Twitter. Can you imagine this group when Walter Nolan is healthy and the building, the rest of the draft, put it off to the side. I thought Cody Simon's playing well tonight. Denzel Burke's been a little hit or miss, right? Keaton Crawford going to have an opportunity in this half. Put everything else aside from this draft class. Jordan Burch, Will Johnson, Walter Nolan. If Walter Nolan can build on what he did in OTAs, that's a hell of a trio. That's exactly what you needed to do with your first 3 picks. Everybody drop a like. Let's get some likes going here on a post-game halftime show as we continue on. We said we were going to do it. We're not going to do a traditional halftime. We're not going to do a traditional post-game show because, frankly, we got 2 more quarters of preseason garbage to endure as the Raiders are starting Cam Miller in the second half. North Dakota State quarterback, 6 foot, 211 pounds. Again, help us out here. Get us to 500 likes on a post-game show. We're having fun. We appreciate everybody, especially our sponsors. We're going to get to them later in the show. Bo Brack feverishly racing his way back from Glendale to his home setup as the Raiders jump offside. If you look at the box score, a couple other standouts. I mean, Darren Hall, Keitrell Clark with a couple nice tackles to end the half. Owen Papo, Cody Simon looking good at off-ball inside linebacker. It's unfortunate for Denzel Burke because I know Denzel Burke's had moments this training camp, moments against Kansas City. It's kind of drawn the assignment of going up against some of the quote-unquote top receivers for opposing offenses, and just not ready yet. And that's okay. I mean, he's going to be 4th or 5th cornerback for the Arizona Cardinals. He's making this team, 5th-round pick out of Ohio State. Big fan of Denzel Burke. Not somebody at the end of the day that you're going to count on like a Will Johnson, a Garrett Williams, a Max Melton. Baharo's saying 28 passing yards for Clayton Tune. I mean, what can you say? I mean, just they're going to dress this up because he was not as bad as last week, because he's been more mobile in the pocket. But I mean, it's just he has regressed as a player, as a quarterback, and the Cardinals, I think they've bit themselves in the foot with a couple different instances here. I think you should have carried another quarterback. I think you should have given somebody else an opportunity to get a look, because I'm like, how much more do we need to see? So the Cardinals get some nice pressure there from a couple guys that are not going to make this roster here. So Jordan Burch and Xavier Thomas both out of this game. Miller goes down on third down here coming up. Clayton Tune, to me, at the end of the day, I think that we know enough about him that I think we've reached our ceiling here. I'm not sure about that as much as I'm not a Purdy guy. So again, 5 for 11, 28 yards, most of it on his touchdown throw, booted out. It's a nice throw. Xavier Weaver could have been a better throw, nice enough, but that was about it. I mean, it was rough. There was a nice play by Keitrell Clark. Keitrell Clark doing everything he can to make this team. I mean, Keitrell Clark, right before the half, had a nice tackle. I mean, it's like, does Keitrell Clark outlive Elijah Jones? I haven't seen Elijah Jones at all tonight. I saw him with his helmet off on the sideline. Keitrell Clark just made a hell of a play. It was a nice. What's tough is Keitrell Clark has shown you more than Elijah Jones, and it goes against everything that Jonathan Gannon has talked about, has preached in terms of, prioritizing draft picks and priority free agents over guys that are just good football players. And no, you don't want Keitrell Clark out there on Sundays starting for you, but I mean, yeah, because I'm with you. He has an edge. I mean, he's a dog. He was a 6th round pick. He's busted his ass. Elijah Jones, top prospect coming out, collegiate all-star, hasn't proven anything in the NFL. At some point, the further you get away from your collegiate accolades, the less it means in pro football. Like, can you either hang or not? And Keitrell Clark's been living that 6th round life for 2+ seasons, and he will be, I would imagine, on a roster if he's not on the Cardinals. Eric, no problem. Happy to go solo. And Bo will be with us momentarily. And hopefully this is the only time you got to listen to my voice solo. But we appreciate everybody. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. We're going to be going through it. The Cardinals, at the end of the day, they get out of training camp healthy. What does it mean? Big picture. We're going to go to break right around the corner. We're going to count some cards. We're also going to talk about what the ramifications of a faulty preseason with no momentum could mean headed into New Orleans. Hit that like button. Drop a comment. It's PHNX. Again, Arizona Cardinals under appear safe tonight as we had our Bet365 pick of the week. Also, full transparency, took the Raiders money line, which I'm not ready to bail on. I got to see Clayton Tune have another convincing drive. But right now, it's breaking news from our friends at Bet365. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you place $5, win or lose. Sign up. Use the bonus code PHNX365. Deposit 10. Place a bet for $5. Get $200 in bonus bets when you win or lose. Anybody bet on the college football landscape today? Kansas State, Iowa State. Was that game overseas? Again, dabble with our friends at Bet365. Scan the QR code on screen right now. Get loaded up with bonus bets. 150 bonus bets for free. And again, it's hard for me to do any future bets, but perfect time to use your bonus bets because they're free on futures, props, player props, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with Bet365. You got to be 21 years and older, physically located here in Arizona. If you were someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov for more info. Bo Brack on his way. I'm on my way to a better financial acumen with our friends at Monarch Money. Let me tell you right now, my daughter turned 6 over the weekend. We spent a lot of money. We got food. We got gifts, catered for people, right? I always want to know. Dealing with a lot of vendors, dealing with a lot of people coming over. It's like, I want to know where my money is and if I'm spending it wisely. Monarch gives you a full access to a dashboard, including accounts, budgets, goals, spending activity, all in one place, right? And no extra cost. It's #1 budgeting app, according to Wall Street Journal. Ever heard of him? Clayton Tune taking the field now. This, again, is an opportunity. Don't let it slip through your cracks. Use PHNX at monarchmoney.com in the browser for the first half off the year. It's Clayton Tune. Nice little dump off there. Xavier Weaver, Tajay Palmer with the catch. And Monarch Money, quite the catch. 50% off with monarchmoney.com. Bonus code PHNX. Again, passionate Reddit community of over 34,000 users that shape up how this product is developed. Reddit's tough, man. It's tough on those Reddit streets. Take our word for it. PHNX, monarchmoney.com. Again, it would be nice to see somebody make a play. DeMercado playing. Nice to see DeMercado have an opportunity to make some plays here in the first and second half. But again, like Clayton Tune, I think you can make a case. This is probably his best showing, which isn't saying much. DeMercado trying to take the outside. Picks up just 1 yard here. Jonathan Gannon looks like he was having fun at the half. It's good to see the coach, but I don't know. I will. The Cardinals could very well win this game. Their defense is playing well enough to win. But I can't get over the fact that this team just, after kind of signaling that they were going to take a different approach this preseason, they punted on the preseason. But again, you come out and you boat race New Orleans like you should, take care of business against Carolina like you should, and you put together a 6-1 start to begin this year. I don't give two shits about the preseason. Doesn't matter. We go into next year, and even if this team ends up with 10 wins, nobody's going to sit there and say, well, the slow start that you didn't have was predicated on the preseason. It's Clayton Tune. Nice little, give Clayton some credit. He's always been a plus athlete. You just don't know where the ball's going when he throws it. Picks up a first down there. That's Cardinals' best offense right now is Clayton Tune scrambling off play. But to me, you got to be in a position if you're the Arizona Cardinals to come out tonight and play your starters. And again, they disagree. They feel like we're getting through the preseason healthy, but does it mean anything if you start slow? Last year, the offense was not ready to go. 2 years ago, the offense, didn't have a competent quarterback to begin the season. I understand, the mindset, but as Clayton Tune takes the ball under center, 9:50 to go in the third quarter, not much room to block. Friars looked okay tonight, gave up that brutal play to Max Crosby. So we've got backups upon backups in this game right now for the Arizona Cardinals. No John Gaines. So we got Tajay Palmer. DeMercado's out there. It's tough. It's tough sledding. So again, the Clayton too, you take it with a grain of salt here. People want to talk about Michael Carter. Michael Carter, exceptional 38-yard run in the first half. I enjoyed it. I want to see Michael Carter on this team, but DJ Dallas playing special teams. And that Bo had a really good point. As Clayton Tune gets about 10 seconds in the pocket, takes a really bad sack. DeMercado had an opportunity to pick up a blitzer, wasn't able to do so. But, it's just that play in general emphasizes the lack of pocket presence for Clayton Tune. It's just, I've seen enough. I've seen enough of this. Look at that. Doesn't know where his ball's going. His head's all over the place. Yeah, Andrew, 1,000% right. Just doesn't have a feel for the position. And if you don't have a feel for the position, you better be an elite athlete. You better be able to move. You better be able to make plays off script. He does that about at the minimal level that you would need to just stick around the roster. So 3rd and 22, God help us. This is probably a draw coming up. It sure is. DeMercado, or is it not DeMercado? It's 35. His name escapes me. Apologies. Cardinals look very firm in trying to get this game over with. They supposedly have seen enough. A lot of these players, full transparency, are not going to be on the roster. Who's going to be on the roster? Noah, man, you want to count some cards right now? You want to talk a little counting cards on a PHNX Cardinals halftime post-game show? Or we want to table that right now? No, we're going to count some cards. Hell yeah. Through the first half, my guy Noah. Look at this graphic, by the way, brought to you by our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Simi Fehoko with a touchdown grab. Dare I say, Simi Fehoko taking over for Zach Pascal, better receiver than Zach Pascal. With all due respect, I'm not sure Zach Pascal, is he still in the league? He got kind of grandfathered in by JG when he came here. Simi Fehoko looks outstanding in the red zone. And again, whether it was Jacoby Brissett last week or Clayton Tune this week, 6'3", and a half frame. We can work with that. Drew Petzing has a stigma, guys below 6 foot, really below guys 6'2". So Simi Fehoko, a nothing burger of a signing with all due respect when it happened. He's done a nice job coming in for this team, fleshing out that receiving room. And if you're Tajay Palmer, that's a tough blow because we know this receiving room is as follows. Michael Wilson, of course, Marv, Zay Jones, Greg Dortch, and then Xavier Weaver and Simi Fehoko. It's a nice group. A lot of people aren't going to be happy with that group on Sundays, though, if they're not stretching the field vertically. Defensively, we talked about it. Jordan Burch, player of the game, offense and defense. Xavier Thomas, though, give him credit. Had a sack, had almost another sack. And we know he's a caliber of athlete that went to Clemson during the peak of Clemson dominance, not only in the ACC, but as a national contender. Was at Clemson for, I kid you not, for like 5+ years. Was a COVID kid during that season, multiple years, stuck around, had I think a condition where he had to sit out most of the year. He missed a lot of time. And so he came to the Cardinals. A lot of people question his ceiling, and I think that's fair. But you know what his floor is. I think his floor is somebody that can come in and flesh out a group where last year, if you needed a pinch, he can come in and get a sack for you against an immobile quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So give credit, Xavier Thomas, at least with no B.J. Ojulari, who does not appear close by any stretch, is going to be on this active roster as the edge rusher 5 of that group that we talked about earlier. And then, again, speaking of what we said earlier, Michael Carter, 38 yards, rushing in a single rush. I think he's slightly over that on the evening right now, 39. So 3 carries for 39 yards, including a 38-yard rush. I mean, it's a tough spot. If you're around the NFL, I don't know how you look at Michael Carter and think we couldn't use that in our backfield. I made this argument last year. It's like Dallas is trotting out 100-year-old Ezekiel Elliott. They wouldn't have an opportunity to sign Michael Carter off the Cardinals practice squad. I mean, that's a joke to me. DeMercado has proven himself. Trey Benson's a high draft pick. We know what James Conner brings to the table. And DJ Dallas plays special teams, and that's the trump card for Michael Carter. He's not the special teamer that DJ Dallas is, but like I watched Xavier Weaver and DeMercado return kicks. I'm okay with that. But if you're going to bring Michael Carter onto your 53, like you have to have a role for him on game day. Is Drew Petzing giving Michael Carter carries over Trey Benson or DeMercado? I don't think he is. But I'm with you, Perfect Remedy. I actually think he's a better complement to James Conner than Trey Benson. I think Trey Benson, and this is not a knock on him, I think Trey Benson's a poor man's James Conner. I think they're a similar kind of back. Whereas I think the perfect complement, we saw it 2 years ago, specifically down the stretch when the Cardinals were beating Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, is when you have James Conner, 60 to 65% share of the carries, and then Michael Carter that can come in and make something out of nothing. Jeff, the only guy we cut that will not get picked up will be Tune. I mean, I think that's fair. I think some guys will get through, but not people that we talk about on this show. Like I think, Mustapher could get picked up if they don't keep him. Elijah Simmons could get picked up if they don't keep him. Does Owen Papo make an active roster? I don't know. I mean, does he make it off, the Rallis-Gannon Association? Could Keaton Crawford make an active roster? Draft pick who's played well this preseason? I could see that, right? But I think that firm bet that if Clayton Tune is cut, he's not being picked up. And again, like if you're Gannon and Mossiford, like what does that say about the most important position? I know he's QB3, running practice, running scout team. Don't you feel like you could do better? Certainly you can. There's Xavier Thomas getting his nose dirty in the second half. This should be picked by the Cardinals. Almost interception there. I'm trying to tell who that was. Elijah Jones. I mean, that's probably Elijah Jones' best play. There, Rob said it. Elijah Jones, would have loved to have seen him come down with that. But to me, I mean, baby steps with Elijah Jones. You're playing this. Yeah, you got to intercept that pass. You're playing with third and fourth stringers in the third preseason game. You're Elijah Jones. Not great. You were a top 100 pick. Like Michael Wilson was a top 100 pick a couple years ago. He ain't playing in the second half game of the preseason. So defense has been great tonight. Outstanding. And again, I don't want to dog on, Drew Terrell, and I don't want to dog on the Cardinals DB coach who called that game in Denver last week. But like you can tell a difference, even with Drew Petzing, especially Nick Rallis. When Nick Rallis is calling the game, Cardinals don't look like they did last week. So again, I think that this is probably why they weren't freaking out. Now, Denver, different caliber program. Everybody looked good at quarterback, not only during the preseason game, but also in the joint practice. So yeah, Elijah Jones, you take that, try to build off of that. So 2 pass breakups, you either try to build off of that, or you try to move and say, hey, check out this tape, give us something, see if we can work with it. But Bo Brack is going to join us momentarily. We're going to come back from break. We're going to get Bo's thoughts on this game, whether or not the Cardinals are in a position to take advantage of a subpar preseason game, a subpar preseason season, frankly. And we'll get to your super chats. Drop your super chats, and I want to dive into what you guys are thinking. Hammer that like button for a solo halftime post-game show. Bo Brack coming up. It's PHNX. Again, big thanks to all of our presenting sponsors today, including our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, specifically Wild Horse Pass. If you have not signed up yet, we want to see you in a matter of days. Let's see the graphic. Noah, man, next Thursday, August 28th, myself, Bo Brack, doing a live show at Wild Horse Pass, the residency. Just think of this as the appetizer. The preseason was supposed to be the appetizer. This is actually it. Thursday, August 28th, the Upper Deck Kitchen and Bar. We've got a live show at 4:30, like we do every single day here at PHNX Cardinals, a 6 p.m. live season preview for only those in attendance. And then, of course, at 7 p.m., we've got our PHNX Sports Fantasy Draft, our second consecutive at PHNX Cardinals, PHNX Sports, frankly, at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. So, again, fired up for that. Also fired up, again, for everybody to check out our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. If you're coming in, if you want a staycation, go all in with 4,500 slots, live table games, catch the action at all of our sports books. Go big or go home. From upscale to approachable, classy to casual. Again, unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement you won't find anywhere else. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com. Love our friends at Gila. Love our friends, by the way, at Rally House. Rally House, the go-to spot to shop for all of your favorite Arizona team gear. There's our guy, Bo Brack, with tens of thousands of products to shop from. They've got locations in the East and West Valley. So no biases here. Tempe, Mesa, Glendale. Have you checked out the Rally House for all of your game day apparel? I've bought jerseys at Rally House. They've got a tremendous drinkware sign. It's got some really cool stuff for your man cave. Whatever you're looking for, shop at Rally House. The only carry Arizona sports teams. Find your Rally House today at rallyhouse.com. We're going to be there in just a couple weeks. We're going to be doing live shows as Michael Carter continues to work. Bo Brack working overtime against that Glendale traffic. I would imagine not nearly as bad as 2 weeks ago against Kansas City. Bo, how we living, my guy?
Living well, man. Congratulations to you for your watch is over solo here to start the second half with the Arizona Cardinals. No longer having to pontificate about Clayton Tune going back as I see him run out of the pocket and just throw a ball away here. But fantastic job by our guy Johnny, and we're back and we're in here in the third quarter and it's 10-10 and not much has changed since I left the venue there at State Farm Stadium.
He's getting worse as the game goes on, I think. Like that, he's leaving clean pockets.
There was like, I think maybe 10 play period. This is after the Jordan Burch strip sack where you saw probably the good. The rest has been the bad and the ugly as far as Clayton Tune tonight. Like they got him on the Fehoko touchdown where they rolled him out. Yeah, and that was a good play. And then you proceed to see on the following drive, Drew Petzing does that. But then you start to cut the field in half, and it becomes a little bit easier to defend. And it just hasn't been good. It wasn't good before. They got the great field position and they cashed in, and it hasn't been great after. As he completes one to wide receiver that's probably not going to make the team, number 39, McCollum. But big third down here coming for Clayton Tune squad. But yeah, it hasn't been too impressive. But for him to be able to find the end zone, for us to see another Fehoko touchdown, a couple more Fehoko special teams tackles. I mean, that's the guy that's going to round out your receiver room. I heard you talk about it, and you have to feel pretty confident about that. Outside of the Tune performance, I think you've seen some a lot more positives than we expected, especially coming after a bad game last week.
Let's talk about our player of the game. Joining us now, Bo Brack. It's the X Factor player of the game, Jordan Burch. And I think you and I were on the same page. Again, 1 sack, 1 TFL, where he was very much not under the radar. But what did we hear about during OTAs? It was Walter. It was Will. Hell, it was even like Cody Simon.
Yeah.
As Clayton Tune takes an egregiously bad sack, running out of bounds, losing 2 yards. He sacks himself more than any quarterback I've ever seen. Jordan Burch, and it's tough when you're not in pads. I think he was kind of a victim of this. The Cardinals, we didn't know what he was. There were people saying he could be a D-tackle tweener. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I just kind of ran with the conclusion, wrong, by the way, that this could be like a red shirt year. Like he's in a group with a bunch of vets, and Ojulari we thought could be back sooner. And now you look at him, and it's like, at what point is he going to push Baron Browning for at least significant snaps on third down?
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that I think has a great skill set. I mean, and that's really kind of discounting it quite a bit. 6'5", every bit of that, almost 6'6", 290.
Yeah,
and he's got the he's light of foot. He's a guy that I thought when he got the strip sack, when he came out with the quickness, and then he showed off the power, and then he showed a relentless motor, getting back to the quarterback to strip it. Like, you saw everything you wanted from Jordan Burch on that play, and then a couple plays later had a TFL on the running back. You've been very impressed with Jordan Burch. He very easily could have 3 sacks this preseason and 4 TFLs. Just a really impressive performance from him. Fits right into that room as kind of but he also has the versatility that Nick Rallis covets from his outside linebacker spot. It's not just pin your ears back guy like XT is, who's had a good night tonight. Give him credit, but we know what you're going to get from XT. You know what you're not going to get from. Where I think Jordan Burch is a well-rounded outside linebacker for this team that profiles like a defensive lineman.
And he can finish, right?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem with this Cardinal pass rush group a year ago, 2 years ago. It's part of the reason they signed Josh Sweat. I mean, Jordan Burch last year at Oregon had 8.5 sacks in 10 games. He had 11 tackles for loss. He was a TFL machine.
Yeah.
And again, like, I like Xavier Thomas, and I like him more when you're not relied on him consistently defensively, and he can play special teams and be an athlete for you. That the trickle-down effect, I think, is very beneficial because, again, he's somebody that I think has definitely earned his spot. And it's going to be interesting, Bo. Like, B.J. Ojulari is not close to coming back. B.J. Ojulari is a long way to go. And I people are disappointed. He got hurt this time last year. Everybody's recovery is different. ACL, we're finding that out about Walter Nolan, what's going on with him. I just think, like, Jordan Burch, this has been a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
With the fact that now you can add, because Zaven Collins is not an older player, but he's in his mid-20s. Baron Browning, mid-20s. Josh Sweat is late 20s. You finally have a piece now that you can say, this is a young pass rusher that we drafted that we're going to mold into a quality starter. It was supposed to be Ojulari. And he was out of shape his first year because he was coming off an injury. He blew out his knee last year when he was supposed to break out. This is the first significant premium resource that they brought in via the draft that looks like is going to be a player off the edge for Nick Rallis.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think this is a guy that's gone from, hey, can we develop him? Can we take this moldable player with this skill set, this size, this ability, and it's a guy that's firmly now in the rotation. Like he's put himself right there in their 4-man pass rotation, and then maybe you might see to start the season somebody like Xavier Thomas get the chance to stay on the roster and maybe in just strictly pass down situations get out there.
Yeah.
But you've got your 4 guys that I think you should have a lot of confidence in. You look at the size of Josh Sweat, and he's just as tall as Josh Sweat, but he's thicker. He's thicker than a guy like Zaven Collins, who's I think playing a little bit heavier than he did initially to start his career. Obviously, when he was playing off-ball linebacker, you've just got this guy that's a bit of a relative to the room, a unicorn, and it's just tip of the cap to Monty Ossenfort and the scouting department to identify him in the draft, and then of course the Cardinals to be able to develop him quickly and put himself in a position to make impact plays right away.
Cardinals defense has been playing well tonight. It's easily the better of the 2 units for the Redbirds. Elijah Jones, couple pass breakups when you were joining us, so that was encouraging. Anybody stick out specifically in the first half outside of Burch? The edge rushers, Mustipher versus Elijah Simmons. I mean, Simmons is out there now. So would that lead you to believe that Mustipher now has got the edge at nose tackle? How do you factor that?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, especially when you start to look at like where that sixth potential defensive lineman can fall kind of in organizationally for you. Right away, could BJ Mustipher be more reliable player? No doubt about it. But maybe who projects to be the better player down the line? Whose kind of tools do you like a little bit better? I think Elijah Simmons, kind of the unknown. There's a little bit of intrigue there. And what we've seen from the big man, like we feel like we know a little bit more about Mustipher, who we talked about in the pregame, who's been in the league. He was a guy that was on the Cardinals practice squad the entirety of last season before they faced some serious injuries in that department. But I think it's going to be kind of a tough decision for Austin Fort and Gannon and Coach Debo, who are going to be kind of all in on this conversation, this debate. I don't think it just because Simmons is playing right now means like, hey, that's a sign of him not making the team. But make some plays. Mustipher was his name was called quite a bit in the first half, and that bodes well for him. But regardless, like you get Nolan back, whoever's in that spot probably becomes expendable.
Jalen Jones, who had to play in the first half, is down on the field now. So, again, what was the vibe in the press room when you opted to leave at halftime? Did you get some dirty looks? What was the vibe?
I snuck out. The old Irish goodbye, as they call it, the bars, the Houdini. That's all of them applies here. Guys, I utilized the free hot dogs at halftime and free ice cream to kind of sneak out of there. And, I don't think anybody will notice until they realize I was live during the second half from the comfort of my own home.
Do us a favor. Both escape the press room to not endure any more Clayton Tune in person. Hit that like for Bo Brock. Sneaking out of the press room in Glendale, joining us.
Oh, man.
If you don't think he's prioritizing this audience first, I listen, his actions speak for himself. So
it was strange exiting at the time that I did, where the parking lot was full. It was almost like there was a natural disaster going, and I was going towards it as I left the stadium. Well, everybody else was just settling in for, 2 more quarters of Toon Squad.
I was thinking about it, like my kids are in bed. We're exhausted here at the Venerable house. We hosted a birthday party today. And it's like, could you imagine doing a post-game show for this game in like 90 minutes from now at about 10:30 Mountain Time?
Crazy.
Talking about this game. Yeah. So
1:30 Eastern time, right?
We've made an audible this preseason, and we appreciate everybody's flexibility, because this enough is enough. I've seen enough.
It was strange. Like, and we got the sense, right? There was a couple like, could they, start the game? Like we see all 90 players, dress up for the game and put on pads and are warming up. And I was talking to you in the pregame, and then I get to my seat and I see Jacoby Brissett, in uniform throwing passes, but he's the break glass in case of emergency quarterback tonight. I'm like, what's going to go on? And then finally they field the opening kick, and Clayton Tune, there was a couple hops and a skip and is on his way to the huddle. I'm just like, okay, it is what we thought it was. And it was that opening drive was just as bad as we thought it could be as well.
Were you surprised that Vegas not only started like their starters like Max Crosby, Geno Smith played in this game?
Unbelievable. Yeah. Poor Josh Fryer, and who was starting that interior guard, had to take on Max Crosby. You're sitting here trying to make a roster, and like, here's the all-world edge rusher, Max Crosby. Try to slow him down, and he blows by them and blows up Amari Dermacado for a negative 7-yard rush. Tough assignment, tough scene for the Cardinals, who got to start today in place of the first and second team. But it was surprising. And then you see that dot from Geno Smith, and it's like, thank God, get out of here. You can see don't let the door hit you. I don't think Sam Darnold's got that in his bag. That was a nice pass to Thornton, and poor Denzel Burke continues to be on the opposite end of just some pretty nice quarterback play and route running.
Geno, man, not the flashiest player, but they put his stats up last year: 4,300 yards, 21 touchdowns. Just every year would win 9 or 10 games. That consistency really killed the Cardinals. Geno Smith undefeated against the Cardinals as a member of the Seahawks. So Eric asking if I'm drinking coffee. I am. Listen, times are tough. I have to watch Clayton Tune for 4 quarters. I'm watching him, and I'm just like, not to pivot here. Is Trey McBride opting to go for a backwards, upside down visor look?
Yeah, that's like circa 2001, right? That was cool back then.
If Trey's doing it now, it's cool in my book. I kind of want to do it now.
That's the old like Malibu's finest look right there.
Yeah, that's true. Clayton Tune dropping back to pass. We could be in safety mode here. Good Lord. I at this point, you might as well just line up in 13 personnel and run the ball 3 straight times.
Yeah.
If you're Drew Petzing, enough. No more stopping the clock here. I've seen enough.
Yeah.
I thought we had a little bit more juice with the passing game. Couldn't be any worse than last week. And now I feel like we've regressed even harder. And it's tough with Tune because I can tell what they're trying to do. The offensive line, which the Cardinals are playing like their 3rd string offensive line, is having trouble with the Raiders' defensive front. And so they were trying screen passes.
Oh, that's a nice play.
Tune couldn't even complete the screen passes in the first half.
It's a nice completion downfield here to Cardenas, so they're going to move the chains. That's probably
his best throw.
His best throw from the pocket, no doubt about it.
I'm shocked that they threw there. I was expecting to end the drive. The drive is going to be over.
Just one of those white flag draw plays there from Drew.
All too well.
Oh man, no. So now don't let Clayton Tune get hot, everybody. That takes now he's now at 4.5 yards per attempt. He was under 3 again, which he's kind of made a home at during these preseason games. So that took his up to 67 yards passing. Oh boy. And is this going to the house? It is all the way.
Bam Knight.
Yeah.
Cuddy. House call. 38. You're done. 38 he'll be out of the league tomorrow. Bam Knight. Listen, if Drew Petzing knows how to do anything, he can scheme up a quality ass run game. Nice play by Bam Knight there. House call for the touchdown.
Flowers to Bam Knight on on this play. This is nice. Who set that up? Oh, just terrible defense by the Raiders. But I was pleased to see Knight get a kick return opportunity and just see what he looked like in that spot. He's been good for the Cardinals with the ball in his hands this preseason. I just don't think it's enough. Maybe he's a guy that can bring back on the practice squad. So he goes now 67 yards to the house. The Cardinals, Johnny, right before the end of the 3rd quarter, up 17-10.
Pretty shocking development here. 67-yarder. I love this. Good night from Thunder. I'm about to steal that as I embed this tweet and try to post it on PHNX Cardinals. Big shout out yesterday. I was at where was I at? Maybe TJ Maxx in King Creek, and was stopped by Jonathan, faithful listener of the podcast. Says he drives a lot for I think Lyft or Uber Uber Eats. And he says that he can never catch the show live, but he just cranks out like 4 or 5 episodes in a row. And he wanted me to say what's up. So, Jonathan, we appreciate you, my brother. Hope you're doing well tonight. Safe, happy. He was decked out in D-backs gear. D-backs another dub tonight. So, check out our guy Damon Dog and Company on the Diamondbacks pod here at PHNX Sports. But, I mean, people are fired up for football season. I think people are cautiously optimistic with this group because you see like, as down on them as I have been with some of the personnel decisions in the preseason. Mm-hmm. We know what the meat and potatoes of this team is. Play good defense, run the football, right? What's the ceiling with that, especially with a softer schedule? Like, can you go from 8 wins to 11 wins with that? I think that remains to be seen. But, like, whether it's Bam Knight tonight or DeMercado or James Conner, and then defensively, we know they're flipping loaded from last year. Can the passing game at the end of the day, can it do just enough? Can it be, I mean, can Kyler Murray throw for 4,000 yards? Can Marv have 1,300 yards? Can Trey McBride catch 5 to 7 touchdowns this year? That's going to be the difference in the season because, again, like I'm not going to overreact to a Bam Knight 67-yarder.
Right.
But like, this looks like Cardinal games from last year where the offense wasn't great. The defense plays well, and they get a nice run play, and they win the game.
May I first say, how dare you, sir, watching Clayton Tune operate from the opening kick say that this resembled anything.
No, you know what I
last
mean.
year. That's a bit heavy backhanded. But look, I get it. 8.5 yards per carry on the ground, heavily aided by a 67-yarder. I get it. Like even some of the wins was, it was just ground and pound. And when you needed to dial up the passing attack consistently, get it in rhythm, or you needed to come up with a big drive, you always felt, wanting more and needing more. So that's going to be a big key to open up the season against New Orleans, who really has nobody outside of their safety play in the secondary that should strike fear in your play callers' hearts. So it's going to be important for them. I heard you on the way in, talking about what needs to happen after kind of punting once again on the preseason. The big cure-all here is a hot start, and your offense showing you some things that they didn't last year. And that leaning into chemistry and continuity was the right play instead of tweaking some things, instead of trying to make a splash with, maybe a supplemental receiver or going and being willing to pay for that guard or pivoting at right tackle. So you got to prove that the decisions you made from the offseason to the draft, doubling and tripling down on defense and running it back on offense, and then your decisions as far as playing time or lack thereof in the preseason, that might go against the grain and that is criticized. You got to come out looking right by how your team performs to start the season and then going forward.
We talked to Benjamin Albright at joint practice, and he said, like, that New Orleans game, don't sleep on that game. That's going to be a tough environment to go into the Superdome week one.
I don't care. It shouldn't matter with the Saints. It shouldn't.
You don't. Well, no, I agree with you. And again, a win it's hard to win on the road, though. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, I mean, in the NFL, sure, you can throw all the cliches you want out there, but like I look at that quarterback room, you got Spencer Rattler 0-5 in the league, and then you got Tyler Shuck, who's 37 years old and really hasn't played any good, consistent football his entire 6-year collegiate career.
Can I just say, I mean, like the year Dallas was a 3 seed or a 2 seed in the NFC. They went to Arizona and they lost to a really bad Cardinal team. Yeah. So, but you can't have it kick off your season.
No, you can't. You have to look like the team that you were the majority of last season against the Saints, beating up on a sub 500 team. And then like, as far as proving yourself, like in the true measuring stick games, also succeeding there. But like, you can't have a letdown. Like a letdown would do incredible amount of damage when it shouldn't to start a season to what a lot of people are excited about this year. So that would be a huge shot.
It would almost be like
gut shot.
It'd be an unforgivable type of loss that this team. I don't know if this team could overcome that. And I know you got to play 17 games, but coaching staff,
VA and the 16 team.
It's a great point.
They've admitted that Patriots opener was something they had trouble just really shrugging off and getting back from.
Couldn't rally from it. Yeah. No Tom Brady, you lose. There's a Jordan Burch on the replay here. Some Burrows, that's nacho ball. Jordan Burch, to me, his ability on that play, not only get the pressure with one hand as Elijah Jones gets beat on a slant, but then to come back and finish that second effort. That's what's been missing in this pass rush group. And again, I get it's backup tackles, but the ability to finish where the Cardinals haven't. And
XT's right there too. I mean, it's rallying to the quarterback. I mean, that's was it O'Connell that was the quarterback at the time? He just had nowhere to go. It was suffocating. The pressure was dialed up, and it looked like it's supposed to look when you have guys that have the ability to really generate the pressure that you want, especially rushing for.
Get your super chats in now. We're going to go to break. Come right back. It's PHNX. I'm ready to take a break after today. I just need a long break with my friends at Circle K. I need to go into Circle K, and I just shut myself off to the world. And I said, you know what? I've spent a lot of money this weekend. I'm ready for the meal deal matrix, the $3 meal deal in particular, hot dog, tornado, Frito-Lay's, chips. I've got a fantasy football draft tomorrow, and I know who's catering. It's our friends at Circle K. $4 meal deal, breakfast Sammy tomorrow morning. That's going to hit the spot. A hash brown and a Bang energy drink, $4. What? $4 for all that? How about $5 meal deal? 2 slices of za, any 20-ounce soda or 44-ounce Polar Pop, $5 buckaroos. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Again, terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Bo, visit CircleK.com for more details. Are you a part of the Inner Circle? Get the meal deal matrix today.
You know it. I am a proud member of the Inner Circle. I enjoyed that 40 cents off per gallon the other day. It was fantastic. You get perks like that all the time. Also, speaking of perks, how about Mountain America Credit Union? Get in on their MyStyle checking account. It's and matches and upgrades your lifestyle. Talk about the Inner Circle. That's always giving you so many opportunities to kind of cash in. So does the MyStyle your lifestyle checking account with Mountain America Credit Union. Restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, loan rate discounts, offers on travel and events, and so much more. Check them out right now. MyStyle your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. That's macu.com/mystyle to apply. Start getting all those perks that you deserve from your checking account. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms and conditions and exclusions apply. But check them out, macu.com/mystyle.
It's a sack party. Cardinals just got what I believe is their 4th sack on the Raiders of the night. This time was defensive lineman. Let's see here. Was it Anthony Goodlow?
Again?
Sack? Yeah, potentially. Now, who's 65?
I think you're right there.
Was it Bars? Maybe ESPN might have it incorrect, but yeah, 4 sacks.
Bars, yeah,
and 4 sacks for the Raiders tonight. Cardinals potentially don't let Clayton Tune get hot. Don't let this run game get hot. Have a chance to put this game away. I think with a score here, either touchdown or a field goal. I think this game's over. Bars. Yep. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Keeping us honest here on a PHNX Cardinals halftime post-game show. Hammer that like button as your boys going late tonight as the Arizona Cardinals mercifully end the preseason. Are they going to 18 games next year? Is that happening next year? When is that happening? When do we get rid of this 3rd preseason game? I don't mind the preseason. Remember when they used to do 4 games? Three games is too many. Get rid of this.
Remember the one, was it 2017? They had 5 preseason games.
Oh, my God. I forgot about that.
They had the Hall of Fame game. And so they had a 5th preseason game. I feel like there's a part of us that are stuck in that preseason still. Like we're still trapped there in some alternate reality.
Yeah. And the quarterback battle that year, they wanted it partially because they was that the offseason they were doing Skeleton versus Cobb, and it was didn't matter. Wow. They played 20
in 17,
not 17. I'm sorry, but
that was when you had Blake Gabbert to the room of Stanton and Palmer, and Gabbert was like, "Man, it's such an honor to be playing in the Hall of Fame game." And you're like, "Brother, you were 10th overall. You shouldn't be playing."
I forgot about that.
You shouldn't be playing in this game, but here we are.
Oh, man. Everybody hammer that like button here as we run through.
The first half, though, more I didn't get to too many of the standouts, like Fehoko doing it all, right?
Yeah, let's pull up counting cards again for Bo to run through.
The special teams tackles. He had 2 special teams tackles, including one where he upended a guy. Jordan Burch were 1 short there on TFLs. 2 TFLs for Jordan Burch today, including a sack. Just really impressive performance by Burch. And then I like the Xavier Weaver catch. That was a nice little layout reception. I like what I've seen from Cody Simon tonight, Johnny. I think that he's been more sound as far as his tackling. I think you can give credit where it's due with Owen Papo. He's had a nice night as well. The Michael Carter thing, it's just unfortunate. It's just, what do you do with Michael Carter? What role does he play for you when you have James Conner and Trey Benson? Those guys are your workhorse running backs. There's just no reason to have a guy like Carter. It's sad. Guy just produces for the team. And then
but it's do you think part of this is a byproduct of just the Cardinals are just an elite running team? I mean, part of that is everybody on the Cardinals is going to average 4 yards a carry. everybody on the team. But
remember
that what he does.
23 season, like outside of James Conner, like who can you rely upon? Like
He
you
was
had an undrafted rookie free agent, Dermicado. We didn't know anything about him outside of what he did at TCU during their run. He was a backup. And they pick up Michael Carter late season. You're like, this is a godsend. This is beautiful. Like, yes, you make this move, and now the guy can't even make a roster. It's just
you made the
Trey
point.
Benson. Yeah.
On the pregame show, and I think it's a great point. And it was about Keaton Crawford, who's quiet tonight.
Yeah.
You can't think of Keaton Crawford as a safety. You have to think of him as a special teamer. And you can't think of DJ Dallas and DeMarcado as running backs.
Yeah.
They play Michael Carter didn't play special teams. Michael Carter was a high draft pick. He was like a third or fourth rounder.
Yeah.
Remember that? He came out, was it with the Jets? DeMarcado looking great this drive, running people over.
Just laid that guy out, huh?
That really hurts him because Drew Petzing's not going to give Michael Carter carries over Trey Benson.
No.
So then it's like if you're the third or fourth back and you don't play special teams, why are you on the team?
Right.
So I think with Cardinal fans especially, like Trey Benson is getting a little bit of a free ride, and it's like, okay, then you like the play that Bam Knight just did in the fourth quarter of a preseason game. We need to see that from Trey Benson in an NFL game this year. Michael Carter's done that before. DeMarcado's done that before. James Conner. Where's Trey Benson bouncing off tackles and taking it 40 or 50 yards? That didn't exist last year. Yeah. If you're Trey Benson, you're not going to play special teams, and you're going to be the heir apparent. And again, we're comparing a bunch of different stuff here. I am, but I think a lot of people are waiting for Trey Benson to take that next step, whereas a lot of these guys have that breakaway ability.
Well, I mean, Trey Benson's longest play from scrimmage was 20 yards last year.
It wasn't good enough.
And you look at the tape from his college days, Florida State. I mean, it was a big play. It felt like every other touch. So you need to see more of that, and you need to tap into that potential and get those explosive runs, or if you're like he's already had in the preseason, a nice little catch and run. Yeah. You need to see it more consistently from Trey Benson. He's going to have to really kind of capitalize on his opportunities. I mean, if all the talk here leading up to the season where James Conner's saying we're co-1s, then you need to see our RB1 stuff, our RB1 caliber plays from Trey Benson, and it exists. I mean, just ask Virginia Tech. The guy was like one cut and go, and he was gone. And they need to see a little bit more of that.
Virginia Tech team, though, was one of the worst teams.
Yeah. This isn't Frank Beamer, Virginia hokey ball. I was
playing free safety. You were playing off-ball linebacker. Noah was the edge rusher for that Virginia Tech team. Though that Virginia, remember we were during draft season, we broke down that film, and it was like that was like the worst Virginia Tech team in 25 years. But yeah, we're thankfully going somewhere this game has no business going, and that is overtime.
Overtime.
Clayton Tune with just an absolute dot of a throw. That ball had no business being complete.
This is getting challenged? Yeah, this is being challenged.
If Pete Carroll throws the challenge flag, I need you to drive back to Glendale and get in his face. Because we're trying to get this game over with, Pete. Oh, my God, he did throw it. Stinky Pete throwing a challenge flag with 9 minutes left in the third preseason game. Gannon he's furious. Can we end this, please? That's a first.
He lost the challenge, looks like.
Good.
And they're operating. Clayton Tune in this offense is marching, Johnny. It's officially marching down the field. They're knocking on the door of the red zone.
Why is that clock moving?
Yeah, seriously. Let's get a carry here and get that clock back running.
Now here come 3 straight passes.
Oh, they are passing. At least it was completed. Poor Michael Carter was just absorbed by a defensive lineman. 6 yards before the line of scrimmage.
Listen, the offensive line hasn't been great for Tune. The skill players are there. Good Lord. The skill players are there tonight, like to support him. The skill players are having a nice night. They knew what they needed to do after last week.
I mean, I feel like this went as well as it possibly could have gone. It's not great. It's not a great watch.
I agree with that. No matter how this finishes, I agree with that.
2nd and 16 after that. Now they're running that. Gannon and Petzing get the assignment. Don't go out of bounds.
You need to positive yards to get in field goal range, so our boy can end this game with his leg. And there's a holding penalty. So, dear God, the two things you couldn't do: took a negative play on first down, and then you get a holding. Face mask. Was it a face mask?
No, I think Byers got hit with the hold.
Disastrous turn of events here.
Can I ask you something? I haven't seen him since like early in the game. Is Josh Fryer playing a lot?
I think he's my securest spot.
I think that might be right.
I think he's on this team.
With
Christian
the injury,
Jones is going to be IR.
Injury to Christian Jones and other offensive line issues. I mean, we saw him go in there and pull a tough assignment against Max Crosby, but we haven't seen much of him afterward.
Josh Fryer is going to be on the team. His position coach was his college coach. This is my argument the entire time. I think he would have beat out Christian Jones anyway.
I don't disagree with that.
Christian Jones has been not. Hayden Connor and Christian Jones, IR for the season, bro. Toast. DJ Dallas with a lone carrier in this game. Look out.
2nd and 26. He couldn't get all of it back.
Bam Knight would have housed that DJ Dallas.
Here's a nice manageable 3rd and 21.
You need to run it again. And then run it again. Run it on 4th down.
How'd you feel about Will Johnson's performance as they show him on the broadcast?
I mean, he just doesn't look into it because it's like he's out there with backups, and he was fine. He had that ball caught in front of him.
Oh, let it rip, Clayton. Oh, he's gonna run it. No way. No way. Picked it up. Showing off that sneaky athleticism.
I'm on the practice squad, whether UMFers like it or not.
Tune legacy drive.
Doing his best.
You guys didn't know that when this thing went on a holding penalty to 2nd 26, that meant Clayton Tune was gonna step up for his legacy drive.
Here's the tough part is that Clayton Tune, if he makes it onto the practice squad, will be with the team all year, and then he'll be with the team next year in camp. And I'm going to have to face that, man. After ripping him.
That scenario did cross my mind today. Oh, yeah. We don't need that. Not one more time.
No, they'll get a quarterback next year.
Clayton Tune. Big 25-yard carry on 3rd and 21 for the
Eddie
first
Lacy
down.
with the toss there. I can't get over how much.
Brett Jones, yeah. August Tune.
I love these watch-alongs. We don't get to do these often because game day, Bo's in the press box. I'm at the studio, and I'm just not doing well when the games actually matter. I'm an emotional wreck, but we'll try to incorporate this at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe
our bosses. I don't think it's good. I think we'll have some form of a watch-along.
Right.
At least early in the season. Clayton Tune dropping back to pass, surveying. T-palms for the first down. There you go, Noah. Hit that like for Tune ball.
UMFers.
You guys getting emotional that this is it?
I'd love another preseason game next week, frankly.
I think Clayton Tune got in the huddle and he said, guys, just one last time. Let's do it.
Cardinals have to be up to about $150 rushing. Oh, yeah. 153?
208.
208. Excuse me. I haven't refreshed my Gamecast. 208. Raiders, 96 yards rushing, 3.7 yards per clip. Cardinals can stop the run.
Genty, bust.
He didn't. He had 2 carries, 5 yards. I will say I haven't been overly impressed with him this week.
Me either. I'm sure he'll be fine. But yeah, one of the runs he looked good, really good.
You took an undersized back in the top 10 over Kelvin Beach or Kevin Banks Jr. or whatever the tackle is for Texas. I don't know. It's flipping late. You took a running back from the Mountain West over a tackle or an edge rusher.
Yeah.
You were a dumb franchise.
That kid from Texas, I know we gave him some grief during the pre-draft.
We didn't like him because he's a left tackle, and the Cardinals have a left tackle.
Yeah.
Go ahead, make your point.
T-Palm, you got to come up with that.
Goodbye, T. We've interviewed T in studio. He's a nice
guy. I know. He comes up with that. He probably falls into the end zone.
You're a professional receiver. You gotta catch that.
Not a great play, not a great place ball, but catch. No. Yeah, catch it.
No. Gotta like to hit him in the numbers there. For Tune, who's got a strong arm, sometimes the balls just kind of die. His ball just kind of dies from time to time.
3rd and goal. This could be it. This could be the last pass.
I bet they're running here.
He gets sacked. There it is. I think that's it. I think the end of watch has happened with the Tune squad.
Clayton Tune's final numbers tonight, even with that robust drive, 8 of 15, 67 yards, a passing touchdown. He did, however, have some juice, 4 for 22 on the ground. So, to your point.
Oh, 5 for 47, man.
Oh, excuse me. My GameCast is not updated. I don't know what's going on. Come on, ESPN. I hate NFL.com.
Or one out. Whatever you're drinking tonight.
It's some mud water. There it is.
That's fitting.
What?
That's fitting.
Mud water on this.
Yeah, just some sloppy coffee that you've got. Yeah.
Has no pumpkin flavor. It's got nothing.
Just let's relive the Tune era of Cardinals football when he came in one of the worst quarterback competitions this league has ever seen.
I think it is the worst. Like, we laugh at Shuck versus Spencer Rattler. Shuck was at least a high 2nd round pick. Colt McCoy versus a 5th rounder for a team that was openly stripping it down.
Yeah.
Their franchise quarterback wasn't going to be back for 10 weeks. I'll never forget going to practice with Bo. I had not been to training camp yet.
No.
And it was like business as usual. We're standing there, and there's Tyler Drake, and there's Donnie Druin, and the Cardinals are going out for 11 on 11. They're going out for team. And I'm sitting there standing by myself, and I watch Colt McCoy, and he's instead of so they're running the ball on run plays.
Yeah.
Plays, he's taking the snap, and instead of throwing it, he's pointing to who he's going to throw it to. And I'm like, is this bizarre world? What is this? And I walk over to Bo, and he's like, well, he's been doing that every day. And I'm like,
every other day.
Every other day.
Yeah.
Like, motherfucker, what? And then we got up, and then Clayton Tune comes in there, and it's like, well, he looks better by comparison because he can at least throw the ball.
Right.
And then they went to, where'd they go to for joint practice that year? Not
Minnesota.
They went to Minnesota. Clayton Tune Colt McCoy threw one of the worst balls I've ever seen in my adult life watching football. It looked like a Pee-wee football throw. It was picked off. People in the stands were openly mocking him at this joint practice in Minnesota. They came back. We did a show, and I told Bo, I said, they have to trade for a quarterback. You can't sustain this. It's like our argument with Tune. It's like, you can't put this product on the field. I don't care if you're waiting for Kyler Murray or not. Because our argument was, well, they're only doing this because Kyler's coming back soon. And then it was evident that Kyler was not coming back. We sat on our show, and we said, you have to make a move. Then they did for Dobbs. And there were people in this market. And listen, we're not going to bat 1,000 on takes. We're wrong about stuff all the time. But after they traded for Dobbs, there were people in this market that said that Colt McCoy was going to start week 1 against Washington because Dobbs couldn't learn the playbook. And I'm like, are you guys blind? What I will never do is I will never come on the show with my co-host and lie to you guys about what we're all watching on screen.
Right.
And that's what people in this market were doing. They were lying to you about Colt McCoy has not thrown a pass since that preseason.
He had a procedure on his arm, and then he would you had a quarterback that would throw like his arm was asleep, like he slept on it wrong. And it just never, he just never had the arm strength, and he had those, like, they tried to give him an opportunity for it to come back in those non-throw days. So Clayton Tune, like, even after all that, they bring in Josh Dobbs on with a week's notice. He starts the game, even though Gannon says it's an open competition. We see one, performance of him. He's the sacrificial lamb, the last gasp before Kyler Murray comes back. Historically bad passing game against Cleveland. Never had a chance. It wasn't his fault at all. At all.
Defense in the NFL.
And then the next offseason, we're hearing that they think he can be a long-term backup. but then they trade Rondell Moore for Desmond Ridder, two organizations just seeing two players that they didn't have. Yeah, it was over with the respective teams. So they pulled off a trade, and Ridder was awful. He was horrific. And Tune outlasted him. And then finally this offseason, they go out and get Jacoby Brissett. Just haven't seen anything like we thought, maybe practice squad. And I just don't think that that's long-term going to be the option.
Unequivocally, there are going to be better quarterbacks cut today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, that are not going to have jobs that are better than Clayton Tune and that are going to be available for you to sign on your practice squad. Do the Cardinals feel the sense of urgency to go and do that? Or are they going to be too comfortable with the familiar? Like Ben DiNucci got cut. He was in the airport slamming a beer, slamming a draft. I love it. It's a cut for my seventh time in my career. And so it's like, but Ben DiNucci is better than Clayton Tune. Like, part of it is, how do you vibe with the team? You know the playbook.
Right.
You can run the scout team. But then we all then have to sit this time of year and watch this. And it's just, it leads people to not be excited about football being back, albeit in the preseason. It's gross.
Yeah, I agree with the Giants. Like, the vibes are at all-time high. That Darren Hall nearly had another pick.
Keitrell Clark, Darren Hall, Elijah Jones.
Yeah.
Anything stand out in terms of, like, I can't make 2 cents of that.
No, I thought that in Hall and Jones are in the game right now where Keitrell Clark isn't. Is that a sign? I don't know. I mean, Clark looked good on special teams tonight.
He had a pass breakup.
Yeah, he shed 2 blockers on a punt coverage. But yeah, that's going to be a tough decision coming down the wire. I think Elijah Jones just playing right now is just necessary. Like, I still don't think this is a 3rd round pick. The idea is to stash him anyway. Looks like he broke up that pass pretty nicely. There you go. 2-8. You stash him just out of the idea of you're not going to take a huge loss on a valuable asset that you had in a top 100 pick.
Mm-hmm.
And stash him, play him on teams, and hopefully develop them throughout the year in practice. Keitrell, I think you know what you're going to get from Keitrell. There's good, and then there's bad. There's limitations there. I think the ceiling is obviously higher with Jones, but right now the floor is horrendously low.
Elijah Jones, I mean, I just don't think you can cut a top 100 pick from last year.
Yeah,
I think that I just don't. And again, like, he's looked more competent this week than he's ever looked before. This is probably just a byproduct of playing more. And I know the competition's not great, but if all things are equal, like, if you're Monty Ossenfort, you're really going to cut a 3rd round pick from last year? I don't think he loves his draft picks almost to a fault. I don't think Elijah Jones is getting cut from this team. I think you if all things are equal, they'll cut Keitrell Clark. Or, I mean, Darren Hall's been much better. I know that's not a good message to send. I still think it goes down the way we thought. I still think Jones is the 6th. Keitrell's cut. Darren Hall, Denzel Burke, 4 and 5, whatever the combination. And you also leave yourself open to maybe adding a vet if somebody else comes in.
Let's take a look. So, as it stands, we had a couple key position battles. We just went through the DBs, the D-line.
Yep.
We talked about Mustafa Simmons. Any different take on that?
I think Mustafa probably has won that job.
You think so?
Yeah. He's
3 total tackles today. It's good in the run game.
Were, like, right at the line of scrimmage where they almost could have been TFLs. I think we mentioned this on the pregame show. I think you could sneak Simmons to the practice squad now. I think Mustafa has closed the gap the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
I think when you start to compare game tape versus other teams, which is what matters. Simmons has been running with running behind Dalvin Tomlinson early in training camp, but like when the lights come on and you need to make a play against another team's offensive line, granted second, third team, he's looked better.
Mhm.
So as much as I love Simmons and I would prefer Simmons like long-term working out, like Mustafa, I mean, they've done a nice job with Mustafa and then like Fehoko, like these guys that are like mid to late 20s that are kind of cast-offs, like they vibed with their team. They found a good match where their skill set fits what the Cardinals need them to do. So, I mean, like, is Walter Nolan going on injured reserve or pup? Like we put out feelers again tonight. It's crickets on that. If Walter Nolan is not ready to practice, then he's going to go on IR or pup. If he's close to practicing, they'll keep 7 defensive tackles. Mustafa, I would say right now is the other D tackle. I mean, he's just looked better tonight and last week. But what do you think?
No, I mean, he's a guy that I think really kind of made the case for creating this competition that otherwise we thought was Simmons' job to lose. And Mustafa said, I dropped 40 pounds. I'm a guy that's been in facility day in and day out. And he clearly has the respect of the coaching staff and is somebody that's vastly improved his game from being maybe an overweight practice squad player to, hey, do this and we'll give you a serious look. And he's certainly made the case. So I didn't anticipate that, but good on him for putting that on tape throughout training camp and preseason and hopefully giving him a chance to extend his Cardinals career. The 2-minute warning's coming up, right? Did they call a timeout?
I hope not. Cardinals have a chance to ice this game. I would imagine they're going to throw the ball.
Is Carroll playing to win here? Is he playing to come back?
Clayton Tune about to become the first Cardinal quarterback to beat Geno Smith and Pete Carroll.
Wow.
So
they showed Clayton Tune's preseason numbers in total. And he had 30 completions for 186 yards.
Is that good?
That's not exactly stretching the field. Yeah, Pete calling timeouts. What are we doing here? Any other kind of solid performances today?
I agree with you that Cody Simon was much better. I think if all things are equal with Owen Pappoe is probably done.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think, we had a conversation before you jumped on about like which Cardinal players are like a lock to like not get picked up by other teams.
Yeah.
Not a shot on Owen Pappoe. I think it's a combination of like where he's drafted, what he hasn't shown, and like the position he plays. Like I think he and Tune are easily like cut and you're not getting claimed by other teams. Like Michael Carter, I think, just given the fact that like running backs are being traded, teams are looking for backs. Like, could Michael Carter be claimed? I think he's got a better chance than last year.
Yeah.
I think all the Cardinals DBs, because of their history and their association with Gannon,
Yeah, they certainly have a chance.
I think all the Cardinal DBs, Keaton Crawford, Darren Hall, Keitrell Clark, Elijah Jones would be claimed just based off his draft status. Mustafa, I think, would have a chance to be claimed. I think Josh Fryer would absolutely have a chance to be claimed. That's why I think they're not dicking around with that. I think Josh Fryer's made this team. Are people really blowing him grief because he got beat by Max Crosby?
No.
Justin Fry is not letting Josh Fryer leave the Cardinals. He's not. Sorry, he's not. And he's close with Paris. And there are tons of undrafted tackles that have gone into the NFL from big programs and developed and become either swing tackles or competent starters. That's a position that, Cardinals have just wiped their ass with so many day 3 offensive linemen in their history from Hell State. Yeah. And they were like, well, let's get this guy who played, for our offensive line coach at Ohio State and was a stud during the college football playoff. And he's been pretty solid. And the kid we drafted last year, we're not sure if he can play. And he was hurt last year and he's hurt now. Easy choice, easy decision. Josh Fryer would 100% get claimed, in my opinion.
Mark upset that we said the bet on the Raiders. I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, once they pulled their starters, it was over. Aiden O'Connell got hurt too.
Yeah, he was supposed to play a little longer, wasn't he?
Yeah, he got hurt his wrist. Sorry, Mark. Whoops.
Whoopsies. Under hit again, though. We've hit the under every week this preseason.
I don't know. When you explain that one to somebody that's concerned about you maybe losing some money on that bet, I listened to a podcast that told me to bet the Raiders in a preseason game. How does that sound for you? Probably not great.
No, we bet on preseason here because we're sickos, bro. I'm jonesing so hard to gamble on the regular season that I've openly bet on preseason for years.
Yeah.
Tune up the brand. Tune up with our friends at Bet365. By the way, can we get some likes? We might be a little low on the likes. We've been going live for 80 minutes here on a post-game halftime watch-along extravaganza here.
Yeah, that's what it is.
We say goodbye to Clayton Tune. Gosh darn it.
You're not going to ever get to say it again. Blake Gillikin to punt it away as the last play of the Tune squad was actually a uneventful one. That's more fitting.
Can I just say this?
Yeah.
He didn't get the win. He has not been good tonight. Right? He's been bad still.
No, yeah. I didn't think he was good. Like I thought that like I said, on that third down throw, it was his best throw from the pocket. T-palms on the play that should have been a touchdown was another decent throw, but no. I mean, relative to his performances this preseason, this is by far the best.
This is what he's looked like the last two preseasons.
Yeah.
What we saw last week was somebody who shouldn't be playing in the NFL. Like the tape that we saw last week, the indecisiveness, the balls thrown at the line of scrimmage. Tough for Xavier Thomas, who was starting on this team at the end of last year, to be playing in this game right now in the fourth quarter. Is that a bad sign?
No, I think it's just that they need somebody at outside linebacker. I think he's got a shot of making the team with Ojulari staying on pup.
Because they don't carry. You got to carry 5 edge rushers.
Yeah.
I'd love a strip sack here. Let's get nuts.
Damn, 46
Simmons
getting out
needed
of bounds.
Finish there. Come on, Elijah Simmons. Bad missed tackle there. Elijah Simmons just doesn't give you any juice rushing the passer. He's just a big, heavy nose tackle run defender.
Run defender.
Give Pete Carroll credit. He's looked the same for 20 years. Looks the exact same. It's because Pete Carroll looked 70 when he was 50. So now that he's 70, he looks 65.
Yeah, when he was on the sidelines for USC, I feel like he looked the same as he does now, and that was 20 years ago.
Xavier Thomas got held there. They didn't throw the flag. What a riveting preseason. Are you subscribed to PHNX Sports here on YouTube?
We're waiting for the final 90 seconds then as another Raiders player gets out of bounds.
It's great. I was sitting on my couch watching this game. My wife's like, how late are you going tonight? I'm like, well, it'll be quick. We'll be done. We're starting at halftime. She's like, I've heard that before.
We got Noah running the PHNX Sports account just begging for likes. It's coming off a bit desperate right now, guys. Let's not let this be prisoners of this moment that it's just such a futile end to the preseason that we need to just be farming and mining for likes. Oh, what a breakup by Vi Jones, the brother of Zay Jones.
Not familiar with him. Cardinals DB's much better tonight.
Yes.
Coverage is. I didn't even know what I was watching last week. Was that the worst?
That Jared Stidham, after his performance in the joint practice, he was going to come out and deal like he did last week. But
was that the worst preseason game that you can remember?
Yeah, it was brutal.
Outside of Brissett's one drive, I mean, it was the Cardinals they should have just left town after joint practice. He's going to run for this.
Yeah.
Can you just
New
throw
set of downs. That's what you want to see there is the Raiders getting out of bounds and getting a first. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in to the preseason coverage. No, it's been great. It has been fun. Like it was great to just get back, in camp, and everybody's been in the banner August for us. Numbers look good. Everybody's bosses are happy. It's been a fun training camp. I think we saw a lot early on, and then it kind of just like tapered off. And and that's I think the issue there is like people think that the inactivity is a sign of, are things stagnant again? Are things not improving?
That's what I think. I think that.
No, I know you have that feeling. I don't think that that's a true sign of what's going on. Like obviously, you do have the benefit of, you were there at the joint practice, which I think was a big part of this preseason for the Cardinals, where a lot of people had to witness and endure and were subjected to that preseason game in Denver, which was just about as ugly as it gets, as we just talked about. But I don't think it paints a proper picture of what the Cardinals feel like they've accomplished this preseason and training camp.
Can I push back a little bit? Xavier Thomas with his second sack of the night.
Yeah.
I think fans of this franchise see an opportunity on Saturday night, nationally televised game, Raider, like Pete Carroll, champion. Pete Carroll taking over a new program. He's like, I'm playing everybody. You're playing all 3 weeks. Andy Reid, champion, second greatest coach of all time, coming out and saying, as the Raiders are picking up garbage fourth downs.
What did Belichick do in the preseason? He didn't play nobody in the last game, did he?
I don't remember.
Tom Brady barely played. Not to say that Kyler Murray's Tom Brady.
I feel like it felt like the pendulum was swinging. Like people were going back to it, and it's very difficult to sell a fan base that has not won in a long time that your avenue for preparing for the regular season is superior to the coaches that consistently win, that play their guys in the preseason. And I think that is where we're at, is when you watch Patrick Mahomes play deep into the second quarter of the third preseason game. Mahomes, who could go down as the second greatest quarterback of all time, has no business playing. He's out there competing. Cardinal fans, if you want their attention and their money and their commitment, they want to feel like the competition is there. And people, fair or not, PTSD of Camp Country Club with Cliff, like slow starts each of the last 2 years. They want to see you go out and give a shit.
Yeah, and that's not a catch, by the way.
And this is the opposite of that. Do you care enough to go in front of your home crowd? And again, they're going to get the win tonight. They're going to look good in the process. But with all the skepticism around Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing right now, go out against Max Crosby and put an 8 to 10 play drive together and score an effing red zone touchdown.
Yeah.
I know you don't care about it. That's fine. But I'm trying to give you the consensus that when people saw that the Raiders were playing everybody, and it's at home, and the Cardinals are like, not only are you not getting K1, you're not getting Jacoby Brissett. People were upset about it. General consensus is this is the wrong decision.
That's fine.
Cuff saying the optics are bad. I agree with that. And I love Jonathan Gannon.
Like I said, it doesn't matter once, the regular season kicks off, and if you're confident in your guys and you feel like they've put in enough work, within the confines of training camp in preseason, what's the drive really going to do? What's the drive really going to do outside of optics? And we know Gannon is not a guy that cares about optics.
He does not. No,
he doesn't. He wants to give his team the best chance to have success. How it applies to success in the 2025 regular season and beyond. So, now we can finally put final nail in the coffin. The 2025 preseason, the ball goes out of bounds in the end zone. It's over. The whistle is blown. We're on to the regular season, Johnny. We're on to New Orleans.
Preseason champs, 2-1. We've done it.
All this bitching and moaning. They go 2-1 in the preseason. Those style points from Geno throwing a dot against the Cardinals' second team defense.
But that's what they'll be talking about in Vegas. Like their
That's
quarterback looks good.
Good for them. Hang the banner.
I'm telling you right now, you leave yourself open to some criticism. But we'll see. 2 really good defensive performances this preseason in both home games. Yeah. Really good defensive performances. Excellent against Kansas City in the first game, and now in this game, top to bottom, outstanding defensive performances. The Cardinals only give up a touchdown against Geno Smith, as I would argue the Cardinals had their 3rd and 4th stringers out there against Geno Smith. So very nice work tonight all the way around. Special teams were good. Run game was back. Clayton Tune, you got the best version of Clayton Tune, which was just enough to get you this 20 points. So congrats to him.
Clayton Tune on a short field. Way to cash in. And that was really it. You got it to 7-7, and then was able to engineer a field goal drive. And then they were able to get that other touchdown from Bam Knight, just putting the team on his back. 67 yards, house call.
Oh, here we go. Clayton, I knew it was coming. Clayton live post-game show. Does he get his flowers? Retire the number. Retire the preseason number. His family hates me. Everybody in Clayton's family.
12 for 20, 83 yards and a touchdown.
That's pretty good for him.
What do you top out at as far as yardage in the preseason? This like August, like you got like Brady who performs in January, February. Like August, that's Clayton Tune's month.
It's his time to shine. Here are the game stats. 59 yards passing. Not great. The last 2 weeks of preseason football have been some of the worst passing of my adult life. There's that. I mean, Drew Petzing probably likes what he sees, though. Anytime there's a 2 in front of the rush yard, Drew Petzing's done his job.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get after it. 210 yards rushing. Time of possession about even. Critical turnover. Rough as a passer, but got the dub.
Looks like 163 he passed for last preseason against the Saints. Damn, play him against the Saints week 1 with those numbers.
If you're just now joining us, we've had an influx of viewers. The preseason is officially gone.
It's over.
This was the last preseason game to end, which is crazy to think about. This was it. Arizona Cardinals, dare I say, upset the Las Vegas Raiders at home. Cardinals were an underdog in this game. Geno Smith executed the only touchdown drive for the Raiders. The Cardinals made the, let's just call it the unique choice to trot out Clayton Tune for 4 consecutive quarters in this game. And now if you're an Arizona Cardinal fan, you're looking ahead of the regular season. Did the Cardinals, Bo, subject themselves to a loss of momentum? Only time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. What? 2 weeks from tomorrow? Is that what we're looking forward to? Yeah, I mean, September 7th against the New Orleans Saints. For those who are just joining us, we'll get into some of the positives from the game. We'll get into some of the negatives. I thought as far as this game and what we understood about it going into it without the starters playing and being Tune taking the ball and quarterback duties for the entirety of 4 quarters.
Yeah,
this turned out pretty decent, especially with the defensive performances and then like the few key players on offense, like Simi Fehoko, another touchdown grab, another, stellar special teams performance.
Great.
Saw a nice little grab from Xavier Weaver. I thought Xavier Weaver in the return game had a nice little return there. So maybe that's something you see in a pinch, or maybe just put into play from Jeff Rogers in the regular season. But the defensive performance, I think you start with Jordan Burch, the sack, the speed, the power, then the relentless effort to get back to the quarterback for the strip sack, showed off everything you wanted to see. Then you saw another TFL from Burch, and it's like, okay, he's done. He's good. Let's get him ready for New Orleans in week 1. And Cody Simon, I think, taking a step. I think you saw some Elijah Jones plays that would make you feel a little bit more comfortable about rostering him going forward. So I thought you saw enough tonight to say, hey, I can let's make chicken salad as chicken bleep tonight as far as the preseason finale.
You can swear it's overtime. It's after hours. Everybody hammer that like button. 350 watching live on YouTube alone. We appreciate everybody. Appreciate you enduring the Cardinals preseason.
You did.
Which is not for the faint of heart.
No.
This you're not getting Mahomes. You're not getting Josh Allen. This times are tough. Here's where I'm at with this team. The depth is way better than it has been. That's evident. Xavier Thomas was one of the best players on the field tonight. Xavier Thomas is not within the top 4 edge rushers for the Cardinals this year.
Mm-hmm.
B.J. Ojulari, is he going to make him expendable? Doesn't look like he's close, but Xavier Thomas, 2 sacks tonight, and it's like, hey, Xavier, enjoy special teams this year. That's a good sign for the Cardinals in the best possible light.
Yeah.
They have enough depth defensively, up front at the line of scrimmage on offense. I'm excited. Will Hernandez is going to come back. John Gaines, I thought, had a nice preseason. Josh Fryer. Cardinals have the infrastructure this year on both sides of the ball to win their kind of style of play and get to double-digit wins. But a lot of that is predicated on who they play, when they play them, and the kind of quarterback play they get from Kyler Murray. And if he is good, a better version of what he was last year, this is a playoff team. And if he's great, this is an NFC West division champion. Like their depth on both sides of the ball. Their offensive line is aces. Their defensive line is completely rebuilt. The secondary has youth and athleticism, savvy safeties, wide receiving core. We know what Trey and Marvin can bring to the table. It's all right there for this team. It would be a huge disappointment. As much as I've dogged them for the preseason, this is why I feel this way, for them to either start slow or to fumble a second consecutive playoff berth away. Because they were in control of their destiny last year and blew it at 6-4. The depth is not an issue now. You can make an argument at the end of last year, as much as Kyler and the offense struggled, they also didn't have enough depth to finish the job. And that's why at 2-5, they fumbled down the stretch. But depth's not a problem this year. I very outside of the Bronco game, which appears to be an anomaly, they've had equal depth, I would argue, certainly the Raiders, and that maybe Kansas City as well.
It's all there. Like, I think the ingredients are absolutely there. And, you look at what went wrong down the stretch last year, and you're trying to, fill those needs. And they did a tremendous job in doing so by getting healthier just by the offseason, and then obviously revamping the defensive line. But I think you have to – we were a little bit on the fence as far as what they're going to do as far as this pass rush rotation. The addition of Josh Sweat was a no-brainer. They got that done first day of free agency as far as tampering. And then, being able to supplement with a guy like Jordan Burch and his performance throughout these 3 games gives you a lot of confidence about the upside of that. I think a guy at, 6'5", 290 pounds, who moves like that speed, and he can beat, you could rush with 4 now comfortably and win fast. That just bodes well for Nick Rawlins' defense to do what we expect, take a jump, not just be, the more consistent side of the football, but be a team that's going to be able to get off the field, whether it's via turnover or whether it's being forcing them off, 3 and out. It's going to be a welcome sign. And then, like you said, as far as Kyler part of this, it's going to be key for this offense, especially with how they navigated this preseason, to come out and show that leaning in the chemistry, continuity, and not playing beyond the first 2 series of the preseason, that they're going to be fresh and ready to go. Like they can't say, hey, New Orleans, even though this is a down team that is should be in a rebuild, is on the the uglier side where they won't embrace a rebuild. Right. This is a team that you should be able to go out and get into a fast start for, and then just kind of parlay that into a hot start against 6 non-playoff teams from last season to start this season.
Well, they clearly feel like they can flip a switch.
Yeah.
You texted me. What day did you text me? And I don't know if it was joint practice or unreportable part of practice or what. I apologize.
I would never do that.
But, well, yeah, publicly it's unreportable. But I
tell you anything.
You texted me something to the effect of like, Kyler Murray looks great today.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in a recent practice.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly the team has seen enough in the confines of Tempe to say, if this is the Kyler Murray we're going to get 1 through 17, we're going to be a damn good football team this year. And again, I don't like the strategy this preseason, but I unequivocally believe that Jonathan Gannon is the right coach to lead this team. So I'm giving him the immense benefit of the doubt. And I would tell that to him. I would say, it's disappointing. I would like to see the starters more. And he would say, Johnny, we're going to take care of it. And again, we're going to take care of it in the form of regular season wins. I would imagine that's what he would say. But is part of it is because he's 5'10", undersized quarterback, and you don't want to leave him susceptible to hit extra hits if you don't have to. I don't know. He'll never come out and say that. Right. But now is the time. We mentioned this, I think, last week on the show. They will never be in this situation again because they're either going to win this year with Kyler Murray, and then next year it's going to be like, do whatever you want, have a flipping carnival. I don't care. Or Kyler's going to underperform, and they're going to be forced to make changes either with K1 or Drew Petzing or both. They'll draft a rookie, and the rookie will play all 3 games. So this is it, for better or worse. What we saw, it will never be like this again with this kind of up in the air, stigma about it.
Thank you for enduring all that you all have, including my co-host Johnny. I know it's been a trying time for you watching exhibition football without the starters there. But look, I mean, I see in the chat somebody pointing out just the health. I mean, you can say that comfortably now that outside of the Starling Thomas injury and a couple young offensive linemen that you weren't going to rely upon in Christian Jones and Hayden Connor. Did you really suffer any casualties during the preseason and training camp? Like, you're going and barring, any kind of Darius Robinson situation, you're going into the start of the season relatively healthy. All your horses, all your top players at key positions in a spot to take a big step forward this season. If you're just joining us, all 400 strong of you, we appreciate you. Subscribe to PHNX Sports. Hit that like button. We did our we did our roster breakdown. We predicted the 53 last week. As we look at the offensive line, we talk about the depth, and you really have to like the first team offensive line. They look fantastic, and the sample size that we saw against the Chiefs, I think it was like 10 pass plays. They didn't give up anything that resembled a pressure on Kyler Murray. You've got your starters. You got Paris Johnson Jr. poised for a big third season. Evan Brown looks solid at left guard. Yelda Froholt, of course, holding down center. Isaiah Adams has been one of the standouts in camp as a second-year player at right guard. And then you got Jonah Williams, probably the biggest question mark at right tackle. Is he healthy? Can he be productive? Then you got the swing tackle, Kelvin Beachum. You've got Jonathan Gaines, who I think had a solid preseason, even though he was able to weather a thumb injury.
Very impressed with Gaines.
Yeah, he shows depth at all 3 interior offensive line positions. And then Will Hernandez at some point coming back, you were able to kind of re-sign him, keep him in the organization.
If Jonah Williams has his act together this year, this is the best offensive line group collectively they've had.
You got 8 deep there at some point this season. I think Fryer made his case. Will Hernandez isn't going to be ready. So you probably have one more spot on this offensive line. I'd be curious to see who. It's probably in the form of an interior guy or a versatile guy.
Did you count Royce?
Maybe Royce. He was playing deep in the game. He didn't have a great camp as far as Royce Freeman.
Is that a position they look to cuts or trade?
Yeah, maybe.
We've been consistent with that. Like, could you trade Elijah Jones, not for 30 cents on the dollar, but to sell it like, listen, we're going to go get somebody's developmental guard that hasn't, they drafted Elijah Jones to be a starter. That's not going to happen. Go get the equivalent of that from somebody's interior offensive lineman that they've used the top 120 selection on. Yeah. And to me, that's a deal that I would make. I also feel like this team, you use your depth on the offensive line all season. Tristan Colon played a lot last year, right? He's gone now.
Right.
Their interior offensive line is in a much better spot than I think their tackle group is, because Jonah Williams, the minute he goes down, Kelvin Beachum has to play again. I like Josh Fryer. I don't want to see Josh Fryer in a regular season game, just like I would want to see Christian Jones. So,
I think you just got to find somebody to be a placeholder for Will Hernandez. That's all you have to do at this point, because otherwise, Johnny, the offense is set. It's Kyler, it's Jacoby, It's James Conner. It's, Trey Benson, Amari Dermacado. It's DJ Dallas. It's your wide receiver room of Marv, Michael Wilson. It's, Simi Fehoko, Greg Dortch, Xavier Weaver. Tight end room, Trey McBride, Elijah Higgins, Tip Ryman, probably Travis Vokalek. And then you've got like one offensive line position to fill, one spot to fill, and your offense is set. So like that's what they needed to learn offensively tonight. Defensively, I think more of the depth was up for grabs tonight than on the offensive side.
I'm with you. The offensive line, not worried about it. It's crazy that people, give grief to this unit.
Sorry, Nick. Yes, Zay Jones is very much a part of that wide receiver room. Yes.
All right, so let's talk about the defensive line. We've outlined it. We talked about it on the Bird Gang Blitz earlier tonight, and like the decisions up front. We had a conversation about Mustipher versus Elijah Simmons. Walter Nolan right now is being reported by other networks locally here that he's going to start the season on IR PUP. We have not heard that. Doesn't mean it can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
We had heard that it was trending in a different direction about a month ago, but he has not practiced yet. And here's what you have to understand with Walter Nolan. If he's close to practicing, it's not in their best interest to IR or PUP him, because then you're basically putting him on the shelf for a month. Whereas like Derek Harmon has been playing this preseason. He got hurt. He's out for 6 weeks. The Steelers are like, we're going to keep him on the active roster. And the Cardinals should do the same thing with Walter Nolan. I don't know if that's what they're going to do.
Right.
If he is in a position where it's not improving, which would suck, or it's status quo and he's not close, that's when you would put him on IR. But if let's say he's going to miss let's say he misses 3 games, but he's ready to play in week 4 against Seattle, right? Think about that for a second. He probably practices 2 to 3 weeks leading up for that game.
Right.
Whereas if he's on injured reserve, not only does he miss 4 weeks, then he needs to practice for 2 to 3 weeks to get ready.
Right.
So then you are talking about a Darius Robinson situation where half of his season is wiped. So it's going to come, and I don't have an answer for this. Bo doesn't have an answer for this. I can't. I'm not Jonathan Gannon. I can't sit here and say he's close to practicing, thus we're going to do this.
Right.
But with their actions, they will tell you if they put him on injured reserve, he is not close to practicing. But he's looked good walking around. I mean, he does not look like Darius did this time last year, but every injury is different. It's an unfortunate circumstance.
I think the big difference maker or differentiator is Harmon was in training camp,
right?
Saw some preseason action, and like seeing live reps and getting on the grass. We just haven't seen it from Nolan outside of OTAs and mandatory, and it's really unfortunate when the injury happened. And just keeping him on PUP potentially. Does it make some of these rosters decisions easier? Sure. But like Johnny's pointing out, it would be a big blow as far as just what his availability is going to be and what his rookie season is going to look like. I know it's all delayed gratification, and you're confident he's still going to be a big time performer for the Cardinals. It's a little bit further away than I think anybody ever anticipated. So with that being said, the defensive line, I think if he is in an injury list situation, you carry 6, and it's Darius Robinson, it's Calais Campbell, it's Dalvin Tomlinson, it's Dante Stills, I think it's LJ Collier, and I think the chat's right. I think Johnny's right. I think it's probably a PJ Mustipher.
Yeah, and I was a Simmons truther. He had a great spring, and
I love him too.
But when the pads come on, and Gannon has been consistent with this messaging. We got to listen when he says this. That's real football. That's when you can analyze and assess. Elijah Simmons and Cody Simon were 2 of the most impressive players, young or old, during OTAs. We have seen there has been an adjustment, and Cody Simon played well tonight when the pads came on for those 2 players. And they're not as close as the spring would indicate. Whereas, guess what? Mustipher, who's lost 40 pounds, who's been in the NFL, who knows what the preseason rigors look like. The guys, Fehoko, who's been in the NFL, it's like these guys that have experience, it's just a little bit more evident. So they're going to win these jobs.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that Cody Simon, who's going to make this team, by the way, can't play over Akeem Davis-Gaither eventually, but some of these players that, like Elijah Simmons, is probably going to need a couple months on the practice squad if he doesn't get claimed. But this team has so much depth at defensive tackle, even without Walter Nolan, that they can survive, God forbid, another injury.
Yeah. See Ryan saying XT Xavier Thomas has more upside than Zaven in my opinion, but I don't see them in practice. Like that might be right as far as getting after the quarterback, and I think Zaven's going to have his best season getting after the quarterback. But that's the only area that Xavier Thomas might have the edge on Zaven Collins. I actually think they're probably pretty comparable in that spot, but Zaven does so much more as far as being a run defender, being able to drop, and that's where XT is extremely limited. And that's why he's the fifth guy in the pass rush room. That's, what I was going to look at. I think that room is pretty much in place. Does Thomas benefit from, BJ Ojulari? More likely than not, almost 100% chance he's going to be on PUP to start. You got, 5 guys potentially the outside linebacker room, and there's your guys. I mean, it's Sweat, it's Browning, it's Zaven, it's Burch, who was tremendous tonight. Another 2 TFLs, including a strip sack, and then Xavier Thomas, who was great tonight.
Here's what I'll have Ryan's back. Last year, when the Cardinals needed an edge rusher on third down, it was Xavier Thomas over Zaven Collins. They were both on the team last year. But Xavier Thomas is not a well-rounded, like fully rounded player.
Yeah.
We talked to some people like close to the situation, and it's hard to kind of rein him in. He doesn't have like a lot of gap discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you guys know this, being a pass rusher is more than just like, can you get after the quarterback? But aesthetically, it looks better because Zaven, with all due respect, does not have an ability to win one-on-one on third down. The good news is Cardinals really don't need him to do that anymore because they brought in a bunch of guys. Browning and Zaven, like combined, is probably like a well-rounded pass rusher, edge rusher. Jordan Burch is going to be better than all these players. So we're trending toward a Burch, Josh Sweat, Sweaty J third down with a little bit of Zaven, a little bit of Barron, and then Xavier Thomas. To me, and I made this point earlier before everybody joined us. It's like Xavier Thomas is going to be regulated as special teams, and he was the best defensive player on the field tonight at times. That just speaks to the depth that they've accumulated. And I'm going to tell you right now, talking to people in the know, like BJ Ojulari, it doesn't seem like he's close to coming back. Yeah. So, like, is that's an IR designated return, right? Probably, or is he keep him on PUP indefinitely?
Yeah. I think that gives you roster flexibility. He remains on PUP. It's essentially kind of similar to what you face with IR, where it's going to keep you out the first 4 weeks at minimum, and then get that practice window and hopefully get him up to speed. Like the thing with Ojulari is coming off of these layoffs. He's a really good football player. When he gets out of football shape, he takes a little bit longer to get back into football shape. Like we saw that when he's coming off his, the off season he was drafted, he had that knee procedure. Yeah. And that preseason finale against the Vikings, he looked awfully slow. So, you need Ojulari to get back in the football shape. You need Runway to do so. I think PUP creates that more so for him. He's coming off a surgery. He's not coming off, whatever the calf injury was for Nolan. And I think that remains kind of up in the air, even though it seems like all signs are pointing to maybe an injury list for him.
Brett, let me just add a quick note on Ojulari. I'm not going to speak for Bo. I think if you get anything from him this year, like that's a win. And that's not an indictment of him in terms of like, I don't think he's going to come back. When he comes back, like, assuming nobody goes down, like the roles are going to be defined.
Sure.
Is he going to be able to break into a lineup of 4+ guys? What if Jordan Burch keeps this up? You're not playing BJ Ojulari
take him off the field, right?
No. I mean, Barron and Zaven had a really good spring and training camp. Zaven had his best training camp. Barron Browning made flash plays. Like, I just think BJ Ojulari is just, you almost just need a reset to next offseason in a fourth year, in a contract year. Go ahead, Bo.
Yeah. Off-ball linebacker was a position that we knew was going to be a battle throughout training camp, preseason. I think, Mac Wilson Sr. taking the Kazir White Mike linebacker role, green dot, alleviated some of the pressure there to get some guys up to speed that, we saw through preseason weren't ready for it. And I think Akeem Davis Gaither is going to win this job by default. Cody Simon being, depth and a guy that you can rotate in. Fourth round pick, as Johnny said, you heard great things about him through OTAs and mandatory, but, probably his best performance tonight. And a guy that, throughout his collegiate career was a guy that would start at one point and then trend up. And that's good for him. He doesn't have to be as a fourth rounder, somebody that's going to produce right away. I think, though, like they did last year, they carried 3 at the position. I don't see any reason for Owen Pappo to make this team.
Yep. If you're going to go heavy at the line of scrimmage. Yeah. Go heavy with maybe a safety that's had a really nice camp, and Keaton Crawford that can also play special teams. Like if Owen Pappo was lighting the world on fire with special teams, maybe it's another conversation. But it's the minute Cody Simon was drafted, it was bad news for him. I saw somebody ask, like, is Kazir White, is that door closed? Yeah. It's crazy. We're sitting here at August 23rd. Kazir White doesn't have a job. But Mac Wilson Sr. has had a tremendous camp. He's going to have a huge year, health permitting. But then it comes down to, like, Mac Wilson missed a game or two last year with a concussion. Yeah. Who do you feel comfortable with? If Mac Wilson Sr. misses a game, Cody Simon, Akeem Davis Gaither, that's tricky, because last year when Kazir White or Mac Wilson missed time, you had like a Chris Barnes who's been in the NFL. He knew the scheme, knew the play calls. Like, it'd probably be Akeem Davis Gaither at this point, but ain't nobody got confidence in that in terms of being able to take over. So that's one of those
lots of nickel and dime packages.
Right. That's low key one of those guys you really can't afford to lose.
Right. Yeah. No doubt about it. Tony asking, does the good preseason Burch kill the possibility for a trade for Hendrickson or Micah? I would assume it does. It doesn't create the urgency, right? No. It takes it away. And then when you're dealing with dysfunctional organizations, like on the other end of the phone, you got like Cincinnati saying, hey, we want a 26 first and a young player. You're like, talk to you later. Let me know if your price comes down. And then you got, crazy senile Jerry Jones. It's like, I don't know. Like, you have to like what you have at one point. And then, like, do you want to deal with the headache of trying to negotiate with those organizations? It just doesn't seem like it's something that would materialize.
I mean, Jordan Burch turns 24 in October, so he's a little older of a rookie.
Yeah.
His time is now. Jordan Burch's time is now. He is not a redshirt player. I was incorrect. This is somebody that, based on where he's at, should play meaningful snaps for a team that's going to be vying for postseason football on a defense that is absolutely freaking loaded now.
I mean, Will Johnson. The most realistic scenario and best case scenario, like to move forward with, is like, we like our guys. We're going to focus on developing Jordan Burch, Baron Browning, Zaven Collins in his third year at the position. That's the more realistic situation than what's going on.
Can't you admit to, even after Josh Sweat's arrival, we went into free agency and we were like, this team needs 2 edge rushers. And they re-signed Baron Browning, and we were lukewarm on it if that was the only move. And then they got Sweat. And you're like, okay, this is passable. And then they get Burch, and you're like, okay, there's something there. And you assume Ojulari was going to come back. But I would argue, like, when we did like June shows and we were talking about the biggest gap on this team, it was probably depth on the interior offensive line, maybe corner for people who are not comfortable with the group's youth, and then edge rusher, because you had Sweaty J, who had 8 sacks last year, didn't have 12, didn't have 15, and then you had a bunch of guys with promise on the opposite side. And while he still hasn't done it in a regular season game, there's enough there. Like, I saw this team make Xavier Thomas last year a viable option at times. Jordan Burch, respectfully to Xavier Thomas, has been much better early on. Do you need an edge rusher in the first round next year? If Jordan Burch comes out this year and has a really nice rookie season and sweats what we expect, and he's under contract for 3 years, is that position unit feeling pretty good about that suddenly after so many years post Chandler Jones of ineptitude at edge rusher?
Sure. But you need production. It's just like the wide receiver room. It's like you like these guys. You really like these guys. You see potential. You got to do it. You got to do it, and they got to do it now. I think this organization, there's where the urgency is.
Yeah.
But then also you see the brilliance of the roster building, where it's just like you can go with the best player available at the premium position. You could go, find your right tackle of the future. You could go add somebody opposite Burch that you can develop on a more reasonable timeline at the outside linebacker position. You could go continue to beef up the interior of the defensive line if you want. You can go so many different directions. You could, it's really a good place. It's advantageous to adding more talent to the roster. So Andrew checking out after he said he's been going since 5 a.m. Thank you, Andrew, for tuning in throughout this live broadcast that started at halftime and continues here into the post game. Real quick, so we got the 3 off-ball linebackers. Somebody was asking about Darren Hall, defensive backs. Did this game change your mind as far as how you see it? We've got it right now, Johnny. Garrett Williams, of course. You've got Will Johnson, Max Melton. Those are your 3 guys that you're going to really rely upon. And then you got probably Denzel Burke. And then you're looking at Darren Hall. And then you're rostering and stashing a guy like Elijah Jones. See any different?
I mean, Keitrell Clark did not play in the fourth quarter. I'm not sure he played in the second half.
Yeah.
Are you asking me what I would do or what I think the Cardinals are going to do? I would
have an affinity for Clark. You heard Gannon earlier this week. Some of us he could be getting gassed up. For
did they trade one of these corners? I think the only way does Keitrell Clark have value to be dealt for a throwaway 7th or a future 7th or a pick swap? He's played in a lot of games. I think Darren Hall's made the team. Let me start there. Darren Hall's made the team 4th, 5th corner. I also think that unit, if you love somebody that gets cut, James Bradbury's still hanging out there, whatever. They're not cutting Elijah Jones. I don't think they would do that. I think that's extreme. And I think if you're Monty Ossenfort, you're like, look, you made a couple plays tonight. Do this, build on this, be healthy for a year, check back in next summer. I think that would be a mistake, as bad as he's looked at times.
Yeah.
The only way I'm moving off of Elijah Jones is I said earlier, you do hey, that's your 4th from last year, needs a change of scenery, interior offensive line, something that can help you. And so, I still think it's Keitrell Clark. I think he's gone. I think he could get cut. I think he would be claimed. And then you tell Keitrell, go crush it elsewhere. Darren Hall is a much better press man corner, somebody that can get his hands on the football, should have had another pick tonight. So we're really just talking about, in my opinion, Elijah Jones versus Keitrell Clark. One was the 6th round, one was the 3rd rounder. Life's not fair sometimes.
One's listed at 5'10", probably 5'9", and the other's 6'2". Long, lengthy, had ball hawk skills at Boston College. It's just, I think you got to give yourself more time on an asset you invested. And you're not going to ask either one of them, hopefully, to play. Is one more ready to play right now? Keitrell Clark, no doubt about it. But do you that means you hit what DEFCON there,
right?
The defensive back position. If either one of them have the play, and if you can stash one and hopefully develop them throughout the season, that's the thing to go. But the expectation's super high. You got to have guys to be able to go out there and play. And there's a love for Keitrell Clark. This is not a guy that we're saying that. He's everything but 6 foot tall. That's really his only thing that he's going against him. Safety room. This is one where if you do put the Walter Nolan on an injury list and you're just carrying 6 defensive linemen, where I think you could really make the case for another special teams ace that happens to play safety in Keaton Crawford. Obviously, Buddha, JT, Rabbit. Those are your 3 guys that you're going to have in coverage playing snaps, and then Joey Blunt and potentially Keaton Crawford as your special teams players.
He's got a special skill set. He was a top recruit coming out of high school. He went to Texas. He was recruited by Sark, and he transferred when kind of fell out of favor in that program. But he excelled on special teams. He was a rotational safety for Texas. And I think that holds a lot of weight. And then he went to Nevada and put up a bunch of bloated stats at Nevada. He is a physical freak. He had one of the best combine performances of any DB this past year. We were there. And then we had an opportunity to sit with him in studio. He is built like a brick shithouse. So if you're projecting toward 2026, it's like, I like Joey Blount. Can Keaton Crawford get to a Joey Blount-esque level on special teams by midseason? Can we live with that? Maybe you roll the dice. Blount, though, at the end of the day, he is a mainstay on a unit that's had a lot of turnover. So I think one of two things would have to happen. He would have to unequivocally be able to say, I am better or comparable to Joey Blount, or this team is going to carry 5 safeties and 5 corners. They have never done that. It's usually 6 and 4. And Bo, to your point, Keaton Crawford's not sniffing the top 3 safety spots. But, this time next year, Jalen Thompson's probably gone. Contract year, Buda's another year older. Gannon and Rollins have made it, part of their resume. They can develop safeties late. Reed Blankenship comes to mind. So We'll see. I mean, I like Keaton Crawford. I think he's a good football player. But I just think there's been too much turnover on special teams where Joey Blount's probably not going anywhere.
Right. And that becomes a luxury, right? That becomes a luxury to be able to do that. And you have to have a lot of the roster spots that of areas like the defensive line that even though you flushed it with numbers, you suffered some injuries, and you got to feel confident about that it's no longer an issue. And then of course the offensive line, like the trenches have to be set, and then the premium positions as far as the DBs. Then you can say, hey, we're going to carry this guy that we happen to have just a surplus of players on the back end.
But don't you think, real quick, like when they drafted Keaton Crawford, it's like, we already have a bunch of safeties.
Yeah.
Mom, we have a bunch of safeties at home. So maybe they thought about their future.
No, I mean, there's the story that Monty told Ari about, in their interview about, what put him on the radar of Bill Belichick. And it's, the story of Matthew Slater and Belichick's emailing Monty, who's a young scout at that point, and saying, would you utilize a 5th round pick on Matthew Slater just based on his special teams acumen? He said, absolutely. They got a 7th round pick in Keaton Crawford, and he's played the most team snaps in college football, and he can play at a high level. And they really emphasized that phase of football. Maybe somebody that just came in and was more of a made man than we really kind of felt he was, just because 7th round pick, safety numbers issue, special teams is his main skill set.
Donnie Druin, our guy, since Bo came to join us graciously after halftime, not there for our usual JG presser clips, but Donnie Druin has some good takeaways. Follow Donnie on Twitter, does great work for Sports Illustrated, a friend of the program. Here's a couple tidbits. Gannon liked the improvement from week 2 to week 3. Talked about Elijah Jones. He made some plays. I thought he was, quote, good. And I'm sure we're going to watch the tape tonight. I'm proud of them, how they competed. Said Jordan Burch has done some good things, but still has a long way to go. So he's not anointing anybody. His typical JG. Gave glowing reviews on Simi Fehoko and admits that this is an interesting one, probably the biggest takeaway. Admits he made a mistake not playing rookies in the first 2 years as the head coach of this team in the preseason. So even like, and I'm guessing like rookies that are prominent ones that are going to play a lot, like Marv. Well, but you can't really with Marv last year. Darius played sparingly a couple years ago. I mean, Paris played some, but yeah, I think they made. I think the longer this is going to go for JG, I think they're just going to find that the preseason helps them. I do think it's a tool that can help them. I know they disagree with it, and that's fine. But Kyler Murray in the preseason, I don't hate that idea. I get it though. It's not their bag. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it works for a lot of really successful quarterbacks in this league. The thing that's going to change the pushback, the skepticism is success in the regular season, just success from this organization.
Right.
And that's why, people as they view this team going into a pivotal year 3 of this regime and pivotal year just organizationally, like they thought that they were going to do with everything within their power during this exhibition slate, during this training camp slate, to put themselves in a position for success. And the fan base, for the most part, views it way differently than the organization does. So
it's nice to see them compete tonight, though.
Yeah,
they did not.
The team has to come out and make themselves look right come September 7th and beyond.
And get some of these super chats, Bo Brock.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
2 super chats in 2 hours. Let's get those likes.
That's 1 per hour, my guy.
It is. I like that ratio. Chris, 199. What's the latest on Walter Nolan's availability for week 1? We've talked about it. I think Bo and I would be shocked if he played. I think the bigger question right now, Chris, is whether or not the team opts to put him on IR PUP. I know it was reported here locally that it's likely by another outlet, but then, Darren Irvin was asked. He said, I have no idea. I think right now it's not about what game is he going to play in. It's more about when is he going to practice. And if he's going to, you have all next week. Could he practice next week? Well, if he practices next week, then you're not putting him on IR PUP because you don't want to halt his momentum. Or if he's going to practice the next week, he's going to need about 2 to 3 weeks of practice to be ready to play in a game or just to be around the team in a physical capacity. That's the question that they're going to have to ask themselves.
Yeah.
But I remember Rap Sheet said, he said it not that bad. He'll be back hopefully before the opener. Did he have a setback? If he gets a put on IR or PUP, that means he had a setback.
He didn't have a setback. From what I've seen, he hasn't had a setback.
But don't you think it's funny that I don't know that definitively, but that timeline would suggest.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, and to add more of it, and Aaron's saying saw Nolan at the game and there was no sleeve on his leg. Yeah, he's not rocking with a wrap any longer. It felt like throughout, it's not non-linear as this injury is. It seemed pretty linear. We would see him. He had a massive wrap on the start. He was limping. And then we saw a smaller wrap, less of a limp. And then you saw him walking around, look good. We saw him in Denver, Johnny, didn't we? He was out there.
Good. Every time I've seen him, he's looked good. He's been hanging with
looking better and better. And there's been some positive signs. Theo Mackey, we talked about his report earlier today. He saw him working out on the side. And those are all positive things. And if you think about the timeline, and we talk about PUP or one of these injury lists, you're talking about minimum 4 weeks.
So he can't do anything in September. He can't practice at all.
Can't do anything. And that includes next week. Which is a 5th week. So that clock doesn't start until the regular season starts. And you're looking at a guy that's not going to be able to practice for 5 more weeks. It seems like that puts you way behind the 8 ball, a lot further than you ever wanted to be, even from the Rap Sheet report post the initial injury reveal.
Gannon said he didn't have a setback, and maybe setback is the wrong term.
Sure.
But clearly, if he gets put on IR or PUP, then the injury has not responded the way they wanted to.
Okay.
That's my takeaway from this. And again, there are going to be people out there, if he goes on PUP or IR, well, you guys said that he was going to. Listen, the timeline we were given, similar to what Rap Sheet got, and this is where we're at.
Killer Rex put it where we're at. Is this where everybody's at right now? Bust. Calling them a bust.
It is tough because then it just the timeline gets skewed, and I want to be. I'm going to remain positive on the Walter Nolan front, though. Ryan, $2. Anyone feel like we keep Tune despite everything? That's a great question for my co-host. Do you think after his robust night passing the football of under 100 yards? Does Clayton Tune manage to sneak his way onto the practice squad?
Practice squad maybe early on, but I think this has run its course. We've maxed out Tune opportunities.
I think they're going to have a rookie quarterback, one way or another, a new rookie quarterback in this room next year. whether Kyler's here or not, I think they'll have a rookie quarterback. Jacoby was signed for multiple years. So there's just not a capacity. I just don't think there'd be a capacity to have Clayton around next year. So I actually do think not what he's done, but the confidence that they have to put him out there for what equates to about 8 quarters in 2 weeks. He's played about 8 quarters of preseason football. I don't think that I think it's a weird message from the team publicly to then cut a guy outright that's played 8 quarters of your preseason for you.
Yeah.
Again, it's not what I would do. I would go get somebody else that I think would do a better job challenging my team during the week.
I think it just comes down to, like, can you get somebody in that has some sort of familiarity with the system? It's not just gonna be like, hey, there's a guy that I feel like is a good quarterback.
Here's Ben DiNucci.
Yeah. No Ben DiNucci. I don't think he's walking through those doors next week. But I think divorce is inevitable at this point. It's going to be either a rookie or an unproven guy, different than Clayton Tune this time next year. That's going to be getting this stage. This what a stage it is to be the Cardinals quarterback beyond their top 2 in the preseason, because you get the keys to the sports car.
Tony, 1999. Thank you so much, Tony, for the support on that level. We appreciate you, my guy. Tony's a friend of the program here. Do you guys have any theories as to why the second year a rookie D-line has a calf injury in training camp has Buddy's training program jumped the shark? I think it's just bad luck, honestly.
I think it's freak.
Yeah. Better than season ending, better than Achilles, better than ACL, MCL. But, I guess, BJ had the knee last year.
Yeah. And Buddy Morris is a guy that works players now back from injuries. Like he's
not in charge of what he used to be.
Yeah. So let's not point fingers at Buddy for any of that stuff. I think that it was this was, Darius was this following week. So if you think about this upcoming week of practice, that's when he sustained his injury. It was in Tempe. He was at the facility there.
Yeah.
And then, Nolan, as far as all what Gannon's divulged, what the reports are, it was suffered before they even, reported to camp. It was at the, I don't know if it was training, if it was in the weight room, or if it was, on the practice field, but it was before camp. Technically both of them were pre and post camp. And it's just really unfortunate, because it has really halted both of those first round picks' ability to develop and progress.
Yeah. I thought, again, Walter Nolan, the situation was not similar to Darius, and I remain steadfast in that opinion, but only time will tell in terms of the severity of the calf. Dana, ball knower, $2. No major injuries, mission accomplished. Well, Dana, I think Monty Ossenford would agree with you. We were leaving joint practice, had a chance to talk briefly with the Cards GM, and he said, it's a good day. Nobody got hurt. Now we got through, the entirety of the preseason. Not one person was carted off. Not one person, I don't think. Yes, they're healthy. This is a deep team. This is a loaded team with a bunch of young talent and the right kind of vets with Sweaty J and Dalvin and Calais and Jacoby, Zay Jones. Like, it's a really good Cardinal team, and they're healthy right now. So I think they probably would have signed off on that. Absolutely. And again, there are schmucks like me. I would have loved a little bit more juice in the red zone, but they're going to have to work that out on the fly.
Mm-hmm. Good thing is they've got some pretty big opportunities against some bad defenses early on to really work out the kinks. But they need to hit the ground running, man. Like, I'm not gonna say if they come out flat and the first half looks terrible.
Yeah.
This can't be an excuse that anybody leans on come the start of the regular season. Like, I think they ramp things up this next week. They get to 53. They know who all their guys are, and then they really use 2 weeks of prep to get back in game mode.
Yeah, be interesting. They're in a good spot, though. We're in a good spot with 400 watching live. Hit that like button as we've been going for about 2 hours and 20 minutes here on a halftime post-game show. And again, at the end of the day, we only get to do this because of all of you. We appreciate you. Again, do us a favor, hit that like button, and remind everybody we're going to be live at Gila next Thursday for the residency 4:30 live show. Myself, Bo, Noah are going to be hanging out, and then we're going to do an open hangout Q&A PHNX live season preview. That's off air at 6 p.m., so only for those in attendance. And then, of course, our PHNX Fantasy Football Draft, which will be streamed on YouTube. And again, come and join us on Thursday for free. Free entry, get some food, get some drinks. Love our friends at Gila. They do tremendous work, Bo. Wild Horse Pass, our home base away from home this fall.
It is, and during the regular season, it's going to be headquarters for some big-time matchups that we're going to watch together right at that Upper Decker Bar and Grill at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. But for all you sickos that have tuned in for pregame and our watch-along and post-game show, really appreciate everybody who's been watching along, participating in the chat, and even those who are watching on replay. Thank you for quiet ones out there, not in the chat, but we appreciate you just as much for tuning in, watching our show, subscribing to PHNX Sports. But it's going to be a quiet Sunday for us, barring any breaking news, which is possible. I think I saw the Falcons already cut 12 players. Make sure you're following Johnny Venerable. Follow me at Bo Brack and follow the beat account at PHNX_Cardinals on Twitter and Instagram for any of that breaking news. But it's been a banner show. It's been a banner preseason and training camp, my man.
We appreciate everybody. We've had a blast seeing everybody at training camp. And, of course, our coverage continues. This is your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Become a diehard. Go PHNX.com. Fun continues over at the Discord. And, of course, become a diehard for just $36. Pick up a free shirt for your troubles.
Is the big announcement coming next week or the week after?
We have a major show announcement.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a difficult time not announcing it next week.
Okay.
So let's just go ahead and say that, assuming that
Noah's... What if we were to do it at Thursday? What if, regardless of what the bosses say...
I love that idea. I love that idea. If Noah is done with the behind the scenes, which are going to be just an absolute banger, let's tentatively suggest that we will announce it on Thursday. That's a great idea. With our friends at Gila, live show. We have a reoccurring guest this year, which is an absolute mother effing banger and a game changer for this show.
No doubt about it. You were a game changer at halftime, post halftime, doing solo show. You want to see Johnny just navigate without me? You can check that out. Just watch it on replay. But in the meantime, have a great rest of your Saturday night. Look for more content from us tomorrow and Monday morning. But enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you 4:30 Monday, PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.